the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. Slumber, I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Friday! Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah! Working for the weekend. Woo! Woo!
Everybody's-
Friday.
God, how thankful is Loverboy that they just fell on that one?
Oh, yeah?
They're like, hey, guys, I think I just found the song that's going to pay for all of our houses. Everyone's watching.
We'll be doing it at county fairs for decades.
They're like, everybody's watching for the bus stop. They're like, no, that's not it. That's not it. Hang on. What are people waiting for? What are people waiting for? You know what?
Waiting for their paycheck. No.
That's good, though. That's close. Because when do people get paid? They usually get paid on Friday. And
Everybody's waiting for the
Friday?
hot dog guy to show up at the
Everybody's
game.
waiting for the vendors. No. I got it. Everybody loves the weekend, boys. I think we're onto something here. That's like the biopic. I always love that moment in every biopic. They're like, that's it. That's the song. Like that moment. If you ever watched the Queen, what was it? Bohemian Rhapsody.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, did you ever watch that?
Uh-huh.
That moment, like right in the middle, where they're all sitting in the room together, and they're like, what was the song they came up with? I'm trying to remember the one, but it was just like they just fell onto it.
Oh, I kind of vaguely remember the scene, but I don't know what song
They were
it
all
was
sitting in like a
talking about.
warehouse.
Yeah.
Like one of them was in a box, and they were
Yeah.
just like trying to figure it out. And
It wasn't Bohemian Rhapsody.
It wasn't Bohemian. No, it was one of their earlier ones. I want to say it was like Only Want to Be With You or something. I don't remember exactly. It was one of their because they were doing that like kind of doo-woppy like 60s style of rock. I only want to be with you.
Okay.
And then they like the song that like morphed them into the Queen we know them today.
Uh-huh.
That's what the biopic was like. They're like, that's it. That's the song, isn't it?
Wasn't Fat Bottom Girls, was it?
No, that was a little later.
I don't remember. I've only saw the movie once or twice. I didn't see it 1,000
Both in the other
times.
room.
But anyway, happy Friday.
Absolutely. I wonder whatever happened to Big Fat Fanny.
No say.
She was such a naughty nanny.
Oh, you know what else makes this Friday great? McDonald's Friday.
Yes.
By the way, Tanner, thank you for the tea. And I know you weren't in charge of the ice to tea ratio, but the person nailed it. So good job on them.
And Tanner, I will say you were in charge of getting nothing but raisins and cranberries for my oatmeal this morning because I complained last week about how I hate apples in it. It doesn't work in oatmeal. And so this week it was all raisins and cranberries.
Oh,
So
good for you.
Tanner, good on you, buddy.
Nice. I had the s'mores oatmeal the other day.
Yeah?
And I liked it.
Dude, you bring up, it reminds me. Okay, so I know you have because we've watched it together, but those out there who haven't, you need to stop whatever you're doing right now and go watch the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer.
Yeah, there's a teaser one that's out now that's only about 15 seconds.
Sure.
That's the one.
But this is actually featured in the full trailer.
Yeah.
Like the scene is not as featured, but if you find the teaser, that's even better because basically it's a breakdown of a scene that's right in the middle of the trailer, wherein Paul Rudd's character is in the supermarket and he discovers all of these, I don't think it's a spoiler, all of these little tiny baby Stay Puft marshmallow men.
Yeah, baby Stay Puft.
Running around the store, baby Stay Puffs. Yeah, and then the scene is that,
Hashtag baby Stay Puft.
and by the way, I mean, this is marketing 101. They were like, guys, this Baby Yoda thing, they're onto something.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is the most, I want one. I want one now. It's so adorable. And I know that the holiday season's coming. I guarantee they're going to have something out by Christmas. Guaranteed. But the scene that we're talking about is they're running around a supermarket, and one of them lays on top of a graham cracker. Another one brings over a sheet of chocolate that lays it on it. And then the third one comes in with a blowtorch and starts torching the chocolate while the marshmallow at the bottom is just like,
yeah, it's very
getting all cozy.
It's very reminiscent of like the M&Ms eating each other commercials.
It's so good. I mean, it's so good.
I did find it funny.
That
I laughed
scene
and I was
alone,
like, it was great.
I'm excited. I mean, yeah, the folklore or the lore of the movie, the cameos from Dan Aykroyd's character. I mean, I'm looking forward to all that. It's great.
Yeah.
But that one scene, I'm really looking forward. And I feel like it's probably going to be like some kind of like it was a dream sequence or something. We probably got robbed. It
could be.
Yeah. That's what it always turns out to be. It's like, I just needed that scene for the trailer, so it was a dream that Paul Rudd had.
It's just a way to market Baby Stay Puft, which is going to be a thing. Watch.
Man, do I
if
want
that
one.
movie's a hit, it's going to be a thing.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, I want one next to my Gus Fring Funko Pop. I just want a little Baby Stay Puft.
But now what I want to see? I want to see Baby Stay Puft death match with the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Ooh. So much malleability. It wouldn't be a lot of rest holds because they'd just be sitting there like, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
it'd be a whole lot of high flying, I would imagine, flips and stuff.
Not a lot of gripping.
Right. I gotta go. Referee a Pillsbury Doughboy versus a Marshmallow Man match.
Death match.
It's super sticky. It's gonna be a sticky one. Yeah, but here's the thing. They're going. I know exactly what they're going to do because, and it's not necessarily them. They're going to overmarket it, sure, but then what's going to happen is the internet is going to take it, and they're going to do what they've done to Minions and what they have done to Baby Yoda.
Yeah,
they're going to bastardize this little beautiful, little adorable Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. You're going to start seeing him in memes like, "I don't care what you say. I love Mondays."
Yeah,
and little Stay Puft Man, matter of factly, moms are going to ruin the Baby Stay Puft like they ruined Baby Yoda and like they ruined all that. You know who never took off and I would have loved to have seen like really like take off? Baby Nut. Remember Baby Nut?
No.
Oh, everybody should remember Baby Nut.
I don't.
Last year at the Super Bowl, the Planners did a commercial for Baby Nut. Whatever happened to Baby Nut?
Yeah.
I was so mad we didn't get that payoff.
See, I didn't get a show off that one.
I would have loved to have had a little mini Baby Nut, like just kind of hanging out.
You can make your own.
I could make my own Baby Nut.
Start your own thing.
Start your own Baby Nut. Yeah, the thing is, my Baby Nut goes bad every like 6 months or so I gotta change it out.
Stay at a club or something, Facebook page.
That's right.
But yes, mark my words. The Stay Puft, Baby Stay Puft will be a thing like Baby Yoda here in a couple months. Whenever, if that movie's
of course
a hit,
it is, because I want one. This is how Rubish I am. I'm like, yes, I have to have one now.
But the movie's got to be a hit because it's a flop.
It's already like that's the thing. People already like based on the talk from the all-female Ghostbusters and how negative that was.
Yeah,
the praise coming off of this movie and it's nods of the cap to its original and how they're doing it right.
Yeah,
this one's going to be a hit.
Okay,
I'll say this.
I hope so. I'm fearing that I'm going to get hyped up and excited, and it's going to be a big stinker.
You know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid we're not going to be able to have a bona fide hit in theaters moving forward unless Finn Wolfhard is starring in it. That's what I'm afraid of. That kid is in everything.
Yeah?
Whoever his agent is, bravo. That kid is
in Stranger Things.
Yeah, the kid from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Because also, and somebody pointed out he's going to be our Corey Feldman. Because he's going to be that kid who's in everything, but he also has a band, and then he's going to be like, well, I'm more about my music. Yeah.
Well,
watch 20 years. Finn Wolfhard will be the new Corey Feldman.
He's not hanging out with a Charlie Sheen type, is he?
No.
Because that was Corey's downfall.
So I'm curious who Finn Wolfhard's Corey Haim is. Who's the kid he's going to throw under the bus and probably get more molested than he was? Maybe the who's the kid that plays Dustin?
Is it Dustin Diamond?
No.
He's dead.
The toothless kid.
Oh.
What's that kid's name?
I don't know.
Yeah. I can't think of his name. Of course, he's hanging out with Steve more often than anything else. Him and the kid that plays Steve on Stranger Things have become friends.
Well, maybe they just need to groom that next one.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have another show or something. But I should give you the rundown. I haven't done any of that. Oh, by the way, I was in the middle of thanking McDonald's. That's what it was. We started at.
Sorry.
And then I said I had s'mores oatmeal, and that just took us off the rails.
But yes, I think what we're really trying to say is thanks to McDonald's.
Swing by your McDonald's. They got you covered. Download the app. Use it. And you can get exclusive deals through the app. You can use it and pay cash. You don't have to use your card or whatever. You get all the same exclusive deals flash your app at the drive-through there, and they will take care of you and get that all good to go. And by the way, it's the morning time. Ask for green chili on something,
dude.
Any of the breakfast items, it's really good.
So good.
Yeah.
McDonald's, here's a freebie for you. Since Afterlife is coming out.
Oh, McRib's back.
Oh, McRib is so back.
McRib is back.
Since the Afterlife is coming out, this is a perfect opportunity for a Happy Meal tie-in.
Yeah.
Or you could start selling Stay Puft S'mores oatmeal.
I like it.
I
need
put
it.
marshmallows and graham cracker bits in your oatmeal.
I'll be your spokesperson.
That's right. Put a little Stay Puft marshmallow, little baby Stay Puft on the bag of the marshmallow bits. Yeah.
Da.
McDonald's. It's all yours.
Love that.
I would love it.
But big thank you to McDonald's for hooking us up each and every Friday. Swing on by and at 10:31 today, you get your McRib.
Yes. Ooh, that's a Mc-1035 on a whole new level.
It could be.
Yeah, up your egg McMuffins. Throw like the egg McMuffin bits on top of the McRib.
Barbecue breakfast.
Oh, get that sandy bun. I love that's like my favorite part of the whole thing is that kind of like cornflour sandy bun they use.
Oh yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, it is good. It pairs well with the sauce.
It does.
And the pickles and the onions.
The slivered onions, which it's hard. You're hard to come by the slivered onions these days. Those are good ones.
All right, now I'm getting hungry. Fortunately, I got a bag of McDonald's food in the other room to satisfy my craving.
Yeah.
No McRibs in there, though, I don't think. This Tanner pulled the ultimate coup, but I don't think he did.
McDonald's needs to come up with a breakfast rib sandwich.
Breakfast rib sandwich.
Yes.
There's a callback for you. Oh, man. Let me give you the rundown for today's show. We're going to play an interview this hour that Gene Dow, he had on his show, I believe it was Tuesday this week, Paul Gessing from the Rio Grande Foundation. We haven't talked to him in a while, but Gene talked to him earlier this week. Nice. And talking about critical race theory and of course, the survey that's going on right now that the public is highly encouraged to check out, talk all about that. So we're going to play that interview for you here in a few minutes, about 20, 25 minutes. Then straight up 8 o'clock, right after we do our news and all that at technically 8:05, we're going to have Congresswoman Yvette Harrell call in for about 10, 15 minutes, chit-chat with us. We'll get an update on what's going on there and, just talk with her about what's going on in her world.
The good stuff.
And then about 8:15 or so, we'll have the folks from the Chaves County Health Council join us. They've got an event coming up November 9th, a COVID-19 information survey, like they're wanting to know. And then I believe they're offering vaccinations, too, at this event. But we'll talk more about that here with those folks about 8:15. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, Molly Boyles, Main Street Roswell, will join us tonight.
Yes.
Is First Friday.
First Friday.
Got a lot planned for that. We'll talk about that. Also talk about the holidays here, their Christmas ornaments and other sweet collector swag that Main Street Roswell has for the holidays here. So we'll talk all of that with Molly about 9:15 or so. Plus all of your features that include the news of the local and national variety, weather, town hall business, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Before we do any of those things, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty pleasant daytime high temperatures and fair weather expected for the weekend with high pressure parked in the southern and central plains and covering eastern New Mexico. We'll have sunshine today and our high in the mid to upper 70s, down to about 40 and clear for the overnight hours. And then tomorrow it looks like we'll be in the upper 70s and sunny, and then we'll break back into the low 80s and fair weather Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 37 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 86%. Winds are calm at the moment. Warm today, buddy. Oh, yeah. Boy, howdy. Partly cloudy. Gradually becoming sunny today. Highs in the upper 70s. 77 officially with winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Skies will be clear tonight. Overnight low of 40 expected. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Another beautiful day for your Saturday. Sunny skies, a high of 79 tomorrow. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear. Overnight low of 43. South winds, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, the hits just keep on coming. Sunny skies, a high of 82 with south winds, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly clear tomorrow night. Sunday night with overnight low of 45. And then Monday, still in the 80s, low 80s, 81 on Monday. 79 Tuesday, 74 Wednesday, 73 for Veterans Day on Thursday. So, by the way, Veterans Day is Thursday. Don't forget, tomorrow, Saturday, is we're doing our big Veterans Day celebration here. Tomorrow morning, the parade and everything will get, it all gets underway about 9 o'clock. We're going to be starting off with the ceremony at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning on the Chavez County Courthouse lawn. And then the parade will kick off about 10. We'll have a ceremony. Vietnam veteran Jack Swickard. Many folks might remember him if you've been in this town or in the state, a long time with the Daily Record, things like that. Vietnam veteran helicopter pilot. He's going to be our main guest speaker at the Veterans Day Assembly tomorrow morning. I'm going to MC. We're going to have scouts involved with the wreath laying, and then, of course, the parade itself. And if you're wanting to be in the parade, they're just gathering in the parking lot behind the Chavez County Courthouse lawn, and then there at Pioneer Plaza. The first couple parade entries will be kind of lined up, and then everyone else will just kind of fall in afterwards. But that'll all get underway tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Of course, the Heroes 5K, which you can still get involved with, that's going to get underway about 6:45 tomorrow morning, right there at the Berkshire Hathaway parking lot, which is right next to the Chavez County Courthouse lawn there. They're registering there beginning at 6:45, 6:30 time frame, and then they'll have their Heroes 5K run, and then about 9 o'clock we'll start the ceremony. Go to active.com. You can pre-sign up for the Heroes 5K event and all of that stuff. But do invite everyone to come out and be a part of that tomorrow. All right, it is 7:22. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to play that interview Gene Dow had with Paul Gessing, talking about critical race theory and talking about this survey that I believe like the 12th, don't quote me, but I want to say like the 12th, like the deadline on getting that survey done. So we're going to play that interview here on the other side. Don't go away.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
Ladies and gentlemen, So Easy Sewing finally has our most popular sewing machines and sergers back in stock. We have the Zest, our entry-level machine, on sale for $149. We have the Amazing Jazz 2, which boasts a 12-inch throat, on sale for $7.99, and our number one selling Verve sewing embroidery combo machine on sale for $9.99. All machines include lifetime instruction on the use of the machine. Hurry in to 200 East College Boulevard in Roswell to claim your new machine before they're gone. So Easy Sewing. You've never had it so easy.
Have you ever had anything precious entrusted to your care? Maybe it was the family pet or a house-sitting job. Perhaps it was your first car or a big promotion at work. We're all called to be good stewards of many things in life. Take a moment to reflect on your own lifestyle. How are you managing your time? Are you putting your talents to work? Are you being a good steward of the treasures that you've been blessed with? Winston Churchill once said, "We make a living by what we get a life by what we give." Time, talent, and treasure. These are all valuable resources that we are to manage responsibly and to give of freely. It was clear from the beginning that man was created to work, and that work is the stewardship of all that God has entrusted to us.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
What makes a company a true success? It's the people in the company that make all the difference. So offering your employees better health insurance only makes good business sense. True Health New Mexico gives them access to more than 10,000 providers and a truly huge list of low or no-cost prescription medicines, all at a cost that lets you stay true to your employees and to your bottom line. Visit us at truehealthnewmexico.com. It's a true investment in your greatest assets, your people. So true.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Elephants use these skin folds on their bodies to crush mosquitoes. Mike Winters uses his to hide M&Ms. Here's Mike Winters.
Welcome back on Good Morning Artesia, and we've got a very important topic to talk about today. Paul Gessing joins us from the Rio Grande Foundation. Good morning, Paul.
Hey, good morning. Glad to be here.
Hey, glad to have you on. I don't know that we've ever done a Zoom call before, so I was always kind of curious what you have in the background behind you there. So, is that a wrestling poster? Did you wrestle somebody there?
Intellectual wrestling, yes. That poster was put together just under 5 years ago when I went to Santa Fe and debated the then head of the IATSE Filmmakers Union on the issue of film subsidies. And being film folks that they are, pretty creative, they put together kind of a boxing-esque poster series for myself and the other guy. Of course, they, being also my intellectual opponents, made me look like I was the brawler, the grappler, the bad guy. And the pro film guy was the good guy. He was the poodle and all these kinds of things. But his name was John Hendry, and maybe you followed the news closely when he got popped for sexual harassment and lost his job. So the grappler came out smelling like a rose, whereas the poodle was apparently sniffing in the wrong places.
So I can see why you proudly have that up on the wall there.
Absolutely.
For
and
you.
then pictures of my kids and other stuff that you can't see, along with my terrible tout. Say the Steelers are starting to move in the right direction. My shoulder normally covers that up.
Okay, Pittsburgh Steelers fan. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this. Social study standards. Later today in Artesia, the Chamber is hosting a lunch and learn at the Country Club. Schools are going to be there to kind of talk about the social studies standards. And I guess bigger picture in this, what a lot of people are learning, Paul, is that in New Mexico, thanks to a constitutional amendment change during the Richardson administration, local school boards are really limited in some of the things that they have say-so over when it comes to how they run their local school districts.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes, and sometimes these changes fly under the radar screen. And, I want to take two different tracks here. One is on the issue itself, and one is the processes that are being changed. And, the Richardson administration changed a lot about the way education policy making works in New Mexico. And while school board races are important and people are going across the state today to vote on important races, and I say this is the most important school board election probably in our lifetimes because of critical race theory, because of masking in schools and all these other things, those are the first line of defense, and they are the local voice in terms of education policy. Unfortunately, in many ways, they have lost some of that voice when it comes to making the public policy of education in New Mexico. So it's centralized, really. It's the legislature and the public education department that really control a lot of the big picture policies across the board, not just on social studies and critical race theory, but just in general.
So is it the legislature that has the ultimate say-so over the public education department, or is it the governor? Because the governor appoints the public education director, and I don't know if they ever get confirmed by the legislature or not, but how do you see that process? Where do we go to when we want to try to make changes here?
Unfortunately, it's The answer is both.
Okay.
And that's one of the problems with our education system in New Mexico. It's both highly centralized and highly diffuse. One of the things Richardson did is that he took away power from the Public Education Commission, which, like the PRC, Public Regulation Commission, is elected on a statewide basis with districts and the whole 9 yards. That body largely lost its power. It still exists, but it's really the PED commissioner, the education secretary, appointed by the governor. But the legislature has tremendous power as well. So, say, school choice, the creation or dissolution of charter schools, and the rules that are played by in those areas are all the legislature. Of course, the governor gets to veto legislation or put forth legislation. When we have Democrats controlling everything, the governor really can get her way on those issues. Now, one thing we've seen is Floyd, New Mexico, of course, pushing back on the mask issue, and the Public Education Department, acting at the behest of the governor, has essentially replaced Floyd's school board. There's legal wrangling going on right now, and that issue is kind of looming out there as a separation of powers issue. What is going to happen to that school board? Does the secretary, does the governor really have the power to just replace them for not agreeing with her policies? And there's some comments going on right now, comment period, and this is important stuff. By the 12th of this month, the Public Education Department will have completed taking comments on two important issues. One is if people like Floyd's school board want to stand up and oppose what the governor and the Secretary of Education are doing, who can represent them? So there are comments being accepted right now through the 12th over whether the school board and the school district can cover, the school district can cover the legal costs for the school board members, or whether they have to pay for it out of their own pocket. That is something that is being commented on right now. We have done so at the Rio Grande Foundation. It's available at errorsoфenchantment.com, which is our blog site. So that's one thing. Then the other thing that's being commented on, and this is, I know, what kind of led us to have this conversation today, is the social studies curriculum that is being proposed by Governor Lujan Grisham and the Education Department, that is going to introduce what I would call critical race theory light into New Mexico's K-12 social studies curriculum. A lot of divisive approaches to teaching. If you're a teacher, it's just a lot more micromanaging in the education and the classroom that you're going to be dealing with. Just yesterday, the PED, which had a in-person meeting scheduled for the 12th, shifted that to Zoom only. They didn't even use the COVID as an excuse. They just said, we're going to shift this away from a public meeting in person to Zoom only. We have a website just for the CRT issue, riograndefoundation.org/CRT, and you can go and submit comments via email. Old school, you can do fax, or you can mail your comments, and I encourage you to do that right away. The mail system is very slow these days, and you need to get those comments in again by the 12th of this month. So we're really talking 10 days. Or you can, 1 to 5 p.m. on Friday, the 12th of November, you can
via Zoom
attend, or you can attend virtually through Zoom or watch the proceedings. And we've got the Zoom link available. And they'll be discussing, like I said, both issues, both legal representation for these school boards and social studies curriculum issues. And we go into all the details of that social studies curriculum and have draft comments that we submitted, and you can view them for yourself. And I think it's safe to say these are highly divisive around racial and ethnic lines. They are not giving both sides of some of these very critical issues in American history, New Mexico history as well.
I know that's what concerns that people have. We're talking with Paul Gessing from the Rio Grande Foundation. Paul, let me ask you this. We've seen in Virginia, for example, the governor's race there, how this issue of critical race theory being taught in schools has really kind of blown up that whole election process. The incumbent at first denied that it was being taught, and there's been all kinds of evidence that it is. In New Mexico, has anyone from the media, has the governor been asked, is this social studies standards critical race theory? What's your position on critical race theory? Do you want it taught in our schools? And if she's been asked these questions, what has her response been?
I don't know what the governor herself has said. I know that APS, of course, Albuquerque Public Schools, largest school district in the state, they have said that no, it is not being taught. And I don't have evidence to say contrary. We're not Virginia. Virginia has definitely gone down a more aggressively progressive path when it comes to teaching CRT itself. I think these social studies, this curriculum that's being discussed is the first nose under the tent in terms of really getting CRT-oriented issues in the classroom. And just to take a step back, what is critical race theory?
Sure.
Because it's a complicated issue, and it's something that you hear thrown about. Basically, the way I would define critical race theory is that racism isn't an individual thought or emotion under critical race theory. There are no racist individuals. There are only really racist systems. And really, critical race theory is geared towards saying that all entities in the United States, all systems are racist in their very nature. So the Constitution, Congress, police departments, the school system, where you live, all of these things are inherently racist. And they go a step further, which essentially says that we need to tear it all down and replace that with these proto-Marxist philosophies and systems geared towards not just addressing past wrongs, but really just tearing them down and changing them into something that's much more oriented towards the far left of the political spectrum, kind of these proto-Marxist approaches.
So what are you seeing in these social study standards that indicates that that's the direction that they're heading, or as you said, the nose under the tent, if you will?
Yeah. Well, we, like I said, RioGrandeFoundation.org/CRT, and I'm going to read a few of the highlights or lowlights. So in ethics, cultural, and identity studies, there's a requirement that students assess how social policies and economic forces offer privilege or systemic inequity in accessing social, political, and economic opportunity. I know that is a mouthful, but it's first, when you hear the term equity or inequity, that is one of the buzzwords for CRT, because when we Americans typically talk about these things, going back to Martin Luther King, it's not inequity or equity, it's equality of opportunity, equality under the law. Well, critical race theory deals with inequity. Well, what is inequity? Inequity is that there are unequal results in our day-to-day lives among the races and among the sexes that they believe point to inherent failures in the system. Now, I think we can all say that there are legacies of America's past and racism that have created different social outcomes, but there are also different approaches that have been taken culturally and among the racial groups that have led to different outcomes. And separating these things is very difficult, but to take it and flip it on its other side, you would say under an equity-based system that in the NBA you should have some kind of measurement to bring more white guys like me into the NBA, no matter whether we're short or slow or can't shoot a basketball or whatever. And I can't point to all the reasons that we have, 75%, if you will, African Americans in the NBA. I don't spend my time sleeping, up at night thinking, how do we rectify that? And I know there are other serious issues, more serious issues on educational attainment, wealth attainment, but I think the more American free market our position is, treat everybody under the law the same, and over time they will work themselves out. The CRT position is no, government has to come in with not just affirmative action, but reparations, and really making white people, not just white people, feel bad about those past wrongs. And in New Mexico, it's really unique. Of course, this is a Hispanic state founded, with Spaniards coming in here. And so you have in these social studies standards a whole conversation about the founding of this state. And yes, I mean, it is a real thing that the Native Americans saw their ways of life lost. And that is a worthwhile point of conversation. But it's also not worth making today's Hispanic students guilty or feel that they are somehow culpable for that. This is the past, and we should study it, but we shouldn't dwell on it. And I think it's a very nuanced thing. But if you're being made to feel guilty for wrongs of the past based on who you are now, that is clearly in line with CRT and some of these unfair ways of teaching.
Can you give us another example, for example, because you mentioned the equity being a key word, if you will, that indicates that this is critical race theory. Are there a couple of other examples you can share?
Yeah, the seventh grade students, just to talk about the issue of the Spaniards, they talk about destruction and occupation of the Americas by the Spaniards. Now, yes, there's no doubt that civilizations were deeply impacted, but you have to also have a different discussion about what positives those settlers brought, whether it's the American settlers ultimately creating what I believe is the greatest country in the world, or the Spaniards and what they did. In the complicated relationships, I think CRT is trying to impose these moral judgments on people. Another one is police brutality for high school students. Now, again, studying what has happened over the years and the misconduct of police is a part of history. It can be, but you also have to focus on, how they perform a very useful role in our society. There's issues in these social studies standards on gun violence, and of course, you have to consider the positives of gun usage. There's the CIA's involvement in predominantly Latin America during the 80s. Well, what was the Cuban government doing to worsen conditions, and how does socialism continue to impact people throughout Latin America and around the world? So again, I think CRT is primarily about teaching kind of this cartoon version, but only one side of the cartoon of America and American history in the classroom. And so again, all I can say is that as a starting point, people need to issue their comments, riograndefoundation.org/CRT. But also, as parents, if your kid comes home and says, we did this experiment where they split us all up into black kids and white kids and Hispanic kids, and then they, berated us or talked bad about one group or whatever, they need to be aware of this kind of thing happening if it happens in the classroom. I don't think it's happening on a widespread basis right now as we speak in New Mexico schools. But again, this social studies agenda that is being discussed right now is critical. It's important to try to push back against that.
Well, it's interesting because it seems like what we've read and heard about critical race theory is it targets white people specifically. And you just mentioned in New Mexico, that's a little harder to do because you do have the Hispanic population and the Spanish influence in the early history of New Mexico. So I don't know. It does seem very frustrating for this to be out there. What do you think, what's your analysis of the public education department as it is structured? Are they actually going to read these comments, listen to these comments? What is your assessment of the possibility of success, either slowing this down from being introduced or actually having the public education department step back for just a second and incorporate some of these thoughts and comments from the general public into their policy making?
Well, I hate to be cynical, but I do believe that this is coming from the very top down, and this is an intensely political move by our governor. She has a education secretary. This is, I believe, Steinhaus's her fourth, maybe her fifth education secretary, and he's the one rolling them out, and he's pushed a number of other kind of more left-wing priorities that this governor has, I think, had for a long time. Now, these standards, these social studies standards, have been in the works for a long time, but the prior secretary left and did not roll them out. And so Steinhaus, the current secretary, PED secretary, seems to be much more in lockstep with the governor. So I think it's going to be difficult to get them to relent. That doesn't mean that it's impossible. And it's not just about getting them to relent publicly and abandon this kind of thing. We are going to, the moment this comment period is done, request all of these comments, and then we're going to do an analysis and publicize it and say, well, 90% hopefully oppose these standards or whatever the data are. And I think that could have more of an impact, especially a year from now. We'll be sitting here on election day looking at results from a race for governor. And unfortunately in New Mexico, that's the only way to stop a lot of the crazy ideas that seem to be coming around, rattling around through Santa Fe, is through the electoral process. It's difficult, it's time consuming, and it takes 4 years in the case of a governor to get those changes
It
done.
does. One last question, though, related to that. There is a lawsuit, the Gallup-McKinley County Schools lawsuit, trying to wrestle control away from the PED back to the local districts. The Artesia Public Schools, for example, have joined in on that. What is your assessment of that particular effort to wrestle away control from Santa Fe and get back to the local districts? Do you see where do you see that possibly headed?
It's hard to say, and I'm not a legal analyst, but in New Mexico, while we have these different levels of education policy making, we have the local school boards, we have the education secretary at the behest of the governor, we have the legislature, the courts play their own role. It seems that the money is ultimately going to drive the discussion, and the money in New Mexico comes through the state. Unfortunately for you all, you generate a lot of money down in southeastern New Mexico.
That's right.
And if left to your own devices, you would probably have a much more functional and effective education system funded through your own local taxes and business enterprises. Instead, you send it all to Santa Fe, they mix it up, put a bunch of rules and regulations on it, and then send a fraction of it back to you with all these riders and rules and things that say you can't do this, can't do that. So my suspicion is that the courts will go with where the money comes from, which is ultimately, as we see at the state level. But that just points to, we need political change in New Mexico. We need to elect people who are going to get us out of 50th place and work on the tough policy making that will make the state excel in education, not going into more political, micromanaging of the education process.
Sure. Paul, one more time, share with folks if they want to comment, if they want to read the 129 or 122 pages, if they want to study it for themselves, if they want to get comments in before the deadline next Friday, how can your organization help them out?
Yeah, riograndefoundation.org/CRT. That is specifically for the critical race theory social studies standards. Again, you can find the email address, etc. there. You can use that same exact information in terms of the email address, the fax number, or the mailing address to also comment on a separate rule being considered as to the legal representation of school board members if they get crossways with the public education department. Who can represent them? That is a separate rule being discussed at the very same meeting. of the Public Education Department on the 12th of this month. So you can go to that website and use that information and offer double comments on those two different issues, because these school boards need to be able to fight on a fair playing field. If, in the case of Floyd, they don't want to have masks on in the classroom, the board got suspended, they should at least be able to fight and not have to take out their own personal loans to represent themselves legally on that case. The district should be able to help with that.
Well, you would think, and they are duly elected members of that local school board too, and I would think that's a factor in any of these discussions, you would think, anyway.
Well, we've got legal cases going on that one as well, so we'll see. I've been kind of jaded by the legal process throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, because they have repeatedly and regularly ratified anything that the governor has done. And now those judges, to be fair, they have to read the rules and the laws as written. And we've had Democrat legislatures going back to 1930 who have written those rules up. And whether it's COVID or masks or critical race theory in the classroom, those rules have been written to kind of support that kind of heavy-handed policymaking coming out of Santa Fe.
Paul Gessing, Rio Grande Foundation, thank you so much for your time. We need to have you on again on a more frequent basis, because there's a lot of important issues people need to be aware of, need to be thinking about here in New Mexico, and we appreciate your perspective on all that.
Sounds good, Gene. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Paul Gessing from the Rio Grande Foundation. Check that out and make sure you get all that information so that you can issue your comments. You can get involved in this process and do that. All right. Let's...
Jared Cirillo. The Eddy County Sheriff's Office currently hiring both certified and uncertified people for the position of deputy sheriff. If you have any questions about the requirements, benefits, or the hiring process, you can call 575-887-7551. Also, more information at eddycounty.org. A lockdown at Goddard High School was lifted yesterday after police were called to a domestic violence report in the neighborhood near the school. A male suspect had reportedly left the area and was possibly armed with a handgun. The school lockdown was done only as a precaution, according to Chavez County Undersheriff Charles Easels. State environmental regulators have cleared the way for work to continue on a multi-million-dollar ventilation shaft at the federal government's underground nuclear waste repository in southern New Mexico. Ventilation has been an issue since 2014 when a radiation release contaminated parts of the waste isolation pilot plant and forced an expensive, nearly 3-year closure, delayed the federal government's cleanup program, and prompted policy changes at national laboratories and defense-related sites across the country. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
It's a big day for drone fans as DJI launches the much-awaited Mavic 3. I'm Kim Commander with the details, brought to you by ExpressVPN. Secure your online data and get an extra 3 months free at expressvpn.com/Kim. DJI's Mavic 3 looks much like the Mavic 2, but the 3 adds an additional 15 minutes of flying time, 46 minutes per battery. The drone comes in 2 versions. For hobbyists, the basic model's camera's upgraded for an incredible viewing experience. The cost, with extra batteries and accessories, $2,700. For professionals, the Mavic 3 Cine model includes a new Pro controller, dual cameras that work together to create a very large high-resolution image, suitable for Hollywood and professional productions, plus a telephoto lens. The cost, about $5,700. But remember, America's in the middle of a supply chain crisis. If you see the Mavic 3 on sale through a legitimate, well-known retailer or online site, you better snap it up. Get more details at commando.com. Dell Technologies' biggest business sale of the year has arrived. Step up your vision with top tech up to 45% off during their early access Black Friday event. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Plus, get incredible savings on Windows 11 PCs, along with servers, monitors, and docks, all with free shipping. There's also special financing with Dell Business Credit. Get started by contacting a Dell Technologies advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. Do you have boxes of old photos that have been fading away for years? This holiday season, give the gift of preserving precious memories forever with an Epson Fast Photo Scanner. My favorite part is having fun rediscovering and sharing those memories with friends and family. The Epson Fast Photo automatically scans, organizes, and restores all different sizes of photos. Start spreading holiday cheer and preserve what's priceless. Add the Epson Fast Photo Scanner to your holiday shopping list at OfficeMax, Staples, and Epson.com/FastPhotoKim.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty pleasant daytime high temperatures and fair weather expected for the weekend, with high pressure parked in the southern and central plains and covering eastern New Mexico. We'll have sunshine today and our high in the mid to upper 70s, down to about 40 and clear for the overnight hours. And then tomorrow it looks like we'll be in the upper 70s and sunny, and then we'll break back into the low 80s and fair weather Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. It was a heck of a run for the NMMI Colts boys soccer team, but it ended yesterday in the Class 3A championship as Sandia Prep knocked off the Colts 5-2. Sandia Prep 21-2 overall. NMMI finishes its season 15-5-1. The Colts had defeated St. Mike's and Santa Fe Prep in the playoffs before getting to the championship. We got football playoffs tonight. Goddard against Valley, Class 5A. That's the opening round. Goddard's the 6th seed. That starts at 7 o'clock at the Wool Bowl. NMMI in Class 3A against Thoreau. That's Saturday at 11. Dexter at Cuba Saturday at 2 o'clock. Hagerman at Eunice tonight at 6 o'clock. And Gateway Christian in the 6-man championship tomorrow at 1 o'clock against Rhema. Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
I'm Bill Alexander. Food banks across the country are pursuing major expansion projects, driven in part by their experiences during the pandemic, when they faced an explosion of need. So many people who had never had to ask for help found themselves in a position of needing it and not knowing where to go. Jeanette Bott, president and CEO of the Utah Food Bank, said. A business partner of a former Connecticut state representative charged with misusing more than $600,000 in federal COVID-19 relief funds was arrested Thursday in the same criminal investigation. John Bernardo of West Haven was arrested on a federal criminal complaint alleging wire fraud and conspiracy. On Wall Street, the Dow was down 33 points, closing at 36,124. The Nasdaq gained 128 to 15,940, and the S&P 500 up 19 points to 4,680. With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Have you ever had anything precious entrusted to your care? Maybe it was the family pet or a house-sitting job. Perhaps it was your first car or a big promotion at work. We're all called to be good stewards of many things in life. Take a moment to reflect on your own lifestyle. How are you managing your time? Are you putting your talents to work? Are you being a good steward of the treasures that you've been blessed with? Winston Churchill once said, "We make a living by what we get a life by what we give." Time, talent, and treasure, these are all valuable resources that we are to manage responsibly and to give of freely. It was clear from the beginning that man was created to work, and that work is the stewardship of all that God has entrusted to us.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
The pandemic hurt small businesses all over New Mexico, even yours. And rebuilding your business is really tough. The state of New Mexico designed the Business Recovery Grant Program to help pay your business rent, lease, or mortgage payments. The average award is $50,000 and does not need to be paid back. As a business owner, you are dealing with a whole new set of challenges. Visit nmfinance.com/recovery to apply now so you can free up your cash and focus on your great comeback.
If you're faced with a decision on your current job and career path, please consider an advertising sales position with Pecos Valley Broadcasting Company. We have a veteran sales staff to work with and learn from. We represent 5 radio stations and an online platform that reaches thousands of listeners and viewers across the Pecos Valley and beyond. We pay a base salary and expense reimbursement, plus a generous commission plan. Within your first year, you could be earning $35,000 to $40,000 with room for growth. You won't be stuck in an office. You'll have lots of time for your family, and we'll will never ask your vaccination status. If you're interested, email jobs@pvbcradio.com and ask to speak with Vice President and General Sales Manager Thomas Beard today. Pecos Valley Broadcasting Company is an equal opportunity employer.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. U-Haul is the world's largest advertiser in the Yellow Pages. Too bad millennials don't know what the Yellow Pages are. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. Closing in on 8 o'clock. We're going to stay tuned. We're going to have Representative Yvette Harold join us here in about 5 minutes on the other side of news. Then about 8:15, 8:20 or so, we'll have the folks from the Chavez County Health Council join us. That's all happening next hour. Stay tuned. Don't go away. Town Hall News up next. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM KEND. Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side of news. Do not go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Anxious to finally get it done, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi pushing for a vote today on President Biden's almost $2 trillion social and climate spending plan and on a $1 trillion infrastructure bill. Even if the Biden plan does clear the House, it faces unanimous Republican opposition in the 50-50 Senate, as well as opposition from some more moderate Democrats, and every Democrat is needed for the bill to pass the Senate. The Biden administration suing the state of Texas over its election integrity law.
The lawsuit does not go after the entirety of the bill signed in September by Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Instead, the challenge targets various provisions surrounding mail-in voting requirements and voter assistance, which the Justice Department argues violate federal civil rights protections. Abbott and other Texas Republicans say the changes provide safeguards against voter fraud. Jason Walker reporting.
President Biden initially called it a garbage report, but now the White House admits it's true. The administration negotiating big money payouts to illegal alien families separated at the border as the Trump administration enforced federal immigration laws. Texas Republican Congressman Michael McCall telling Fox's Neil Cavuto the idea of such payments is an affront to the American people.
To telegraph, to people in Central and Latin America that you can come in and get $450,000 illegally, $1 million. And this is what really angers the American people. This is why you saw the result you saw last Tuesday,
when Democrats lost big in elections around the country. 530,000 jobs created last month, according to the Labor Department, the unemployment rate slipping to 4.6%. Wall Street, the Dow is up 316 points, NASDAQ ahead 57. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Your pets have the same energy they used to? Do they have problems with itching, scratching, a dull coat, or goopy ears? Then your pets need Dinovite.
DINOVITE.com.
For over 20 years, pet owners have trusted Dinovite to supplement their pet's diet.
We started Dinovite, and in our first box, we noticed a difference.
Dinovite is an all-natural daily supplement made from whole foods that help support your pet's immune system, digestion, skin, and coat.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
Today's commercial pet foods are processed at high temperatures, which bakes out all the essential goodness. These processed foods can lack the essential vitamins, enzymes, and probiotics that contribute to overall good health. Adding a scoop of Dinovite to your pet's food bowl is the answer.
If you love your pets as much as I do, you want to do what's best for them to live long, healthy, happy lives.
I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. All 4 of them are on the Dinovite.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
China says it will punish those it believes are advocating Taiwan's independence by making them criminally liable for life.
Beijing insists that the independently ruled island of Taiwan is part of its territory, and the two must eventually be reunited. China's Taiwan Affairs Office has composed a list of people who it says are stubbornly pro-Taiwan independence. Those people and their families are now barred from entering mainland China and the once Taiwan-friendly territories of Hong Kong and Macau. Beijing is also blocking the individuals and their organizations from benefiting financially from the mainland.
The BBC's Celia Hatton. The United Nations top human rights body holding an urgent session about Sudan after a military coup there nearly 2 weeks ago. Britain, the U.S., Germany, and Norway leading a push to commission an expert to monitor the situation. News and analysis, townhall.com. Mexico says it has made the biggest seizure ever of pure fentanyl.
Mexican officials say 5 suspected drug traffickers were arrested at a lab, along with 260 pounds of the synthetic opioid. Fentanyl is 50 times more potent than heroin, and only a tiny amount is needed to make counterfeit oxycodone pills. The Mexican army said the lab busted October 28 in the northern city of Culiacan probably made about 70 million of the blue fentanyl pills every month. Such pills are so inconsistently dosed that while some may contain next to no fentanyl, others may contain a lethal dose. Bob Agnew reporting.
The attorneys general of 11 states have filed a lawsuit challenging the Biden vaccine mandate for employers. The suit, filed in the St. Louis-based 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, contends that authority to compel vaccinations rests with the states and not with the federal government. Yet on Wall Street, the Dow up 308 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number.
Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we're starting the hour a little bit different this time here. We've got joining us on the phone here today, Representative Yvette Harrell. She is there in D.C. working today. Good morning, ma'am. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks so much for having me.
Good. I'm glad. I know you guys are busy and you might be doing some voting and stuff here today, but thank you for spending a few minutes here with us. Obviously, the media, the world's looking at Congress right now for this infrastructure bill and the craziness and the back and forth there. I was talking with you here just a few minutes ago, and I want to ask about this because when we watch what's going on the news, and obviously everyone probably, depending on which news you look at, but the impression you kind of get is it's all Democrat leadership, arguing back and forth. We have Representative Manchin kind of, being the thorn in the side for most of the party here. But my question is, are they even talking to the conservative side here? I mean, is there anybody in that conversation, or are you all just waiting and seeing on what they decide to bring up a vote here?
Yeah, they are not having very many conversations with Republican leadership.
Yeah.
So we're clearly in the same kind of boat as the rest of America. So
Gotcha.
let's be very clear on this whole thing so people have a real context. Of course, this has been the infrastructure. There's two bills, the infrastructure and reconciliation bill.
Yes. Yeah.
The big fight has been to do them as one package. So, of course, the President of the United States wants them in one package. Nancy Pelosi wants one package. Chuck Schumer wants one package. And several members of the Progressive Caucus want one package. But then you've got a lot of other people that say, this is crazy spending. We can't afford it. They always say this bill has no cost to the Americans, but I can go through a few lists of costs that are going to hit us directly in the pocketbook. So they're in disarray. And what's, I think, also fueling the whole issue is the fact that the voter turnout and the wins on Tuesday night, America is waking up. They are wondering about education, border, economy. I mean, they want to see different governance. And for some reason, Pelosi and her team still want to push this through. And so that's where it is right now. This will be, I have to remind you, Mike, this will be the sixth time that Nancy has said she's got the votes to do it. So here we are. Obviously, I was flying out of D.C. this afternoon to fly back to district. I don't know if that is even going to happen, which I'm happy to be here to vote no on these bills. But let me just, on this, the infrastructure bill, taking one at a time, the infrastructure bill is $1.5 trillion. That passed the Senate with bipartisan support, and I'm sorry that Republicans voted for it, because less than 9% of the bill actually go towards true infrastructure, like roads, highways, bridges, what we think of in terms of infrastructure. And here's the kicker. There have been a couple of bills introduced up here saying, hey, we've got over $1 trillion of unspent CARES package money. Let's take that money that's already been earmarked out of the government coffers and use that money for true infrastructure. But they won't hear of it because that makes sense.
Sure.
But remember, in that infrastructure bill, it's the tax on individual miles being driven. It creates the climate core. I mean, it's really phase one of the Green New Deal, and the reconciliation bill is actually phase two. But I want everybody to understand the reconciliation bill is being written as you and I right now are talking. They have not even finished it. It's over 2,400 pages.
Gosh.
All of our team and the teams of every committee, every member, we're all grabbing as much as we can as it comes out. And typically on a budget bill or a bill this big, the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, scores the bill. So it can tell, it kind of gives a guideline how much it's going to cost the American people, what the taxes look like. They can really look at the bigger picture and see what the bill is really going to do in terms of economy, GDP, etc. They don't even have a score on the bill yet. They're saying they do, but we know if they truly did, they would have already told us that. That's how we know how bad it is. But just listen to some of the stuff, and this is why I will vote no for both of these bills. But on the infrastructure, I mean, this is the one that's going to give $80 billion to the IRS, so that as we, as just Americans, make exchanges in our bank accounts up to $10,000 in a given year, and it sounds like a lot of money. That's not. That's $200 a week. But if you get to that $10,000 threshold, this bill gives the IRS the ability to then free reign looking at your personal finances. So how, when, where, what you spend your personal money on. The last thing we need in our lives is more government, and especially more IRS.
Amen.
This one's going to give amnesty to up to 8 million illegals, and we'll talk about that $450,000 situation in a minute. But this is going to give. What it does is it eliminates work requirements to receive welfare payments. So right now, when you're receiving benefits, you normally have to go look for work, prove that you went out into the workforce to try to find a job. They're taking that away. So now it's on your honor system. It's, hey, I can't find a job. So those checks will keep coming. And that's at a time, Mike, when our unemployment rate is, we have 10.4 million people out of work right now. And somehow paying people to stay at home is going to fix it. But what's really hurtful for New Mexico is the tax, the raising the taxes on natural gas, which affects almost everything. Heating, and we're already seeing what a disaster things are. In fact, here's what's sad. This administration has already said this is going to be the most expensive holiday coming up, Thanksgiving, in Americans' recent memory. And you know why? Because there's no governance at the top level. The price of gas is up. Turkeys, I think they called it the turkey tax. Turkeys are up. I think they said 16%.
Sure.
Food, just normal groceries, supplies. And it could all have been eliminated if we had true governance. We could have kept the border secure. We could have gotten people back off the couch into the workforce and really helped jumpstart the economy. And here's what I find most frustrating. There's a dumpster fire every day in Washington, D.C., and the media, everybody just jumps from one issue to the next, but we never, ever put anything to bed. For instance, open border. We're still dealing with this mask mandate. No one's talking about the Americans still left in Afghanistan. We've got hundreds of cargo ships sitting off the coast of California that are just barely starting to get brought inland for dispatch.
And that was all political, too.
it's all political.
Yeah.
We're the mask mandates, all these things. We're going to lift some of the sanctions in terms of mask mandates and vaccination mandates on people coming here for non-essential services. But we're going to require some to be vaccinated, some not. Some to prove they've had a COVID test, some not. So we're completely trying to get too involved in commerce that could be good for New Mexico and the country. And yet we're going to keep the border wide open. If it was truly a matter of our health, safety, and welfare, then we would have shut down the border and really tightened our belts in terms of keeping the spread low.
Sure.
But that's how you can tell this whole thing is a hoax. And then when you stand up, not a hoax in that it's not serious. Let me rephrase that. I've had friends who have passed away from COVID. I get
But the measures being taken aren't for your health; they're for political. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm saying just like suddenly our parents and grandparents that are getting interested and taking an active role in their children's education, now they're being targeted as domestic terrorists. This is so backwards that we are really being stripped of our constitutional rights, our freedoms, and our nation as we know it. And so it's super frustrating. But there's a good chance, Mike, that they're going to get this done today. And what they're going to do, I just got out of a meeting with Leader McCarthy. He just met with several of us. I think what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to do both bills together, which they won't get it passed. But then they're going to go ahead and try to do the infrastructure. So remember, infrastructure already passed the Senate. So when it passes the House, it'll go straight to the president's desk for signature.
Gotcha. So it's done after the House is done with it, for the most part.
Yeah. If they get the infrastructure bill done, which is not a good bill, it will go directly for signature. The reconciliation bill will go to the Senate. And here's the thing that's so funny to me. Senator Manchin has already said he's not going to take this bill up. He is not going to entertain the idea of this bill because, his words were, it's budget gimmicks. That's what they're trying to do. In fact, he said the bill itself is actually over $4 trillion in terms of spending.
Okay.
But because the way they're trying to do these sunsets and do these little gimmicks within the bill, they're trying to fool the American people.
So let me ask, and this is my naivete here. So in the House, by combining these two bills, is that a tactic to try to avoid this other bill to go back to the Senate altogether, so Manchin and them can't get their hands on it? Is that why they're doing this, or is there another reason?
Well, they'd have to send it back to the Senate, but they can do it as a bundle. But the thing of it is, this is phase 1 and phase 2 of the Green New Deal.
Okay.
There is more money in these bills collectively to jumpstart this Green New Deal, to totally destroy our energy portfolio in our state and in our nation. It will make us completely energy dependent on other nations, when just at the beginning of this year, we were completely energy dependent.
Sure.
We didn't need OPEC. And as soon as he signed the Keystone Pipeline executive order to stop that, and now, have put these regulations, these taxes on our producers. And now he's meaning the president, asking OPEC to drill oil for us when we're sitting on the most valuable reserves in the world. And in fact, in New Mexico has 2 of the top producing counties in the country. It makes no sense. And here's what's so funny. It's all about climate. It's all about, global warming. Well, here's my question. If it's all about climate and we're so worried, when they had the meetings in Scotland, do you know they had so many private jets flying into that that they were having to drop off? Yeah, they had to drop off their people and then fly the plane to other airports around the country because they didn't have room. But here's the thing. If Zoom is good enough for our kids' education and good enough for our executive meetings and good enough for our country, then it should have been good enough for this climate meeting that our president clearly was so overly excited about it. He slept through most of it. But this is why it becomes just almost a joke. And here's the sad part. The people who this is affecting and impacting are us, are the Americans, the small business owner, the business, the American worker, the families, the communities. I mean, we're all sitting here living in the real world, and we've got this facade of, I've not talked to one constituent in the entire district that has ever said to me, we really do want to make sure our water is not drinkable and that our air quality is horrible. Nobody says that.
Right.
Because we know the best stewards of the land are the people, the industries, and the communities that live in and around, whether it's our forest or our oil patch, those who actually make a living from the natural resources around us. And, so it's a kind of a bad argument for them to have. But I believe, I really felt good about Tuesday night because it felt like even though we're in the minority and we don't have the Senate or this president, people are going, wait a minute, this is out of control.
Sure. I know, and we're running short on time, but I did want to touch on Tuesday just real quick. And it just so happened right at the beginning, we were talking, there's Fox News on the background, and then they had a comment from OAC about the Tuesday Virginia election. And I think the headline they put was, she said it was too much of a moderate campaign. And that was the reason why they lost. And I just chuckled when I saw that. And then you brought it up here. I was like, no, it's a symbol of people are tired of progressive extreme stuff. They want more moderate conservative.
That's right. It's right. I mean, it's gotten just so off course that we can always agree that there would be changes under a new administration. There would be, the pendulum would shift, of course, but to the extent and the extreme, these things in these bills, tax credits for electric bicycles. Well, I just don't know how many people in the second congressional, outside of maybe in Las Cruces, would even entertain the idea of having an electric vehicle. The list just goes on and on what it does, but it includes, again, the Civilian Climate Corps, which this would employ thousands of young people to work on climate change and mitigation projects. Well, again, if we can find thousands of young people that want to go to work, you almost kind of think, well, good.
Sure.
But that's just such a dumb idea. Instead of thinking about what we can do best for the American family and the American worker and the American business owner, and then as if, I'm telling you, Mike, every day you wake up and you think it just can't get worse, and then suddenly we're facing this potential payout to those who came here illegally in the tune of $450,000 per family member, so up to about $1 million per family. And I'm sitting here thinking, in fact, I said it in a press conference the other day, no other country in the world would pay people who break the law, come here illegally, and then reward them for that. This is more than the victims of 9/11 and more than our Gold Star families get paid for loss of a loved one.
Yep.
It is so crazy. I mean, it makes zero sense, and that's why I think that's not a Republican Democrat thing. That is an insult to everybody, and especially service members and those who have died honorably in service, whether it was at 9/11 and whatnot. So those are the kind of things that I think most Americans are looking at, going, okay, hold on, that's just a bridge too far.
Yep.
And we're such a giving nation as it is. But the other thing that, Mike, no one talks about, the cost to the American taxpayer for this open border, for this Afghan resettlement program, the spending in this bill, if they did them both, the $1.5 trillion, even if they lowered it down to close to $2 trillion, that does not equal zero to the American taxpayer. It actually is going to be, in fact, this will be the biggest tax increase to the American people in American history. So this is, the talking points they have, I think they're having a hard time, and the news is going to have a hard time talking about this bill because it really is going to affect everybody. And it's just a shame.
It's basically being turned into what Pelosi said a couple years ago. We won't know what's in it till we pass it.
That's it. Well, I did a press conference this week, and I said that. I said, hey, we're going backwards instead of forward. 10 years ago, she said we got to pass it to see what's in it. That is exactly what is happening. I mean, literally, I'm not joking when I tell you the bill is being written as we speak. They're still tweaking it. But, the other day I told people, the one that's reconciliation, the name we call it up here is Bernie Sanders' budget bill. This is Bernie Sanders, but this is a wish list for crazy progressive ideas and implementation of the Green New Deal. And I said at the press conference, I said, remember the old slogan, feel the burn? I said, if we pass this, if Democrats get this through, the only people that are going to be burned are the American people, because this bill is so dangerous and so reckless for our economies, for our kids, for what it's doing to already a weakened workforce. I mean, just you can go across the board, pick any subject, and this tax, this emissions tax on ag. Here's one quick thing, and I know we've got to go, but there's always typically been a tax on oil and gas on emissions. This time, the bill does not exempt ag. It doesn't say it's going to include ag, but it does not explicitly exempt ag. And so what the bill is it's about $6,000 per cow in a dairy and about $4,000 per cow on a beef farm. And so what's very concerning to me, and we've already been talking, obviously, to our dairy associations in New Mexico and so forth, but because they're not explicitly exempting ag in this emissions tax, we can't know if they'll absolutely implement it or not. I don't trust this government, so I think they will.
So literally, pardon the pun here, we're going to start taxing cow farts.
100%. 100%. That's
Welcome to America.
We're taxing a new kind of gas. I mean, it's just they know no end. There's no limit to the stupidity that happens up here. That is the one thing that's been a little bit surprising. I knew there was lack of common sense, but to the extent we see here, it's absolutely unreal. And there's rumors that Pelosi will not run for re-election. There's rumors that she may not even finish this term, but she is going to do everything she can in her power to be able to hang her hat on these two ridiculous bills. It's kind of the end-all, be-all for her.
Yeah, it's her legacy.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Because she's on her, farewell tour. I mean, tomorrow she's supposed to leave to go to Europe again for the third time this year. Because we're all about, saving the planet and not, everybody else gets ridiculed for flying around the country, but she goes and nobody thinks anything of it. So the double standard, I think that's what Americans and New Mexicans are waking up to, this double standard of allowing people to come here illegal and get all these benefits, but yet we want to pass a bill to put 80,000 more IRS agents on, and so they can just target American taxpayers, American business owners. I mean, I think people are starting to wake up to see how ridiculous all of this is going, is starting to be.
Yeah, well, more to come. Stay tuned. Congresswoman, we do appreciate the time. We appreciate you. There is in D.C. defending and trying to save as many of these things as possible, and hopefully you'll have some more help coming soon in the next election cycle here. So. Oh yeah,
I just keep praying about it, and we just need to stick to our guns, stick to our freedoms, and keep the vision of the people of America in the forefront. And I think we can still come out of this okay, but it's not going to be easy.
All right. Well, thank you, ma'am. Try to get some rest in between the funniness that's going on there today in Capitol Hill.
It sounds good, Mike. Okay, you have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and look forward to talk to you again soon.
You bet.
Awesome.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
All right. Thank you. That was awesome. Congresswoman Yvette Harrell, thank you for spending a few minutes here with us. All right. Let's do this. We're going to take a quick 2-minute commercial break. And then here on the other side, we're going to talk with Jennifer Smith and Joanne Lopez with the Chaves County Health Council. There is an event coming up on November 9th where you can get your COVID vaccines if you need it. But UNM's having another event where they're trying to find out why people are or not getting the vaccines and all that. So they got another session coming up next week. So they're going to tell us all about that here on the other side. But quick break, and then we'll be back. Don't go away.
First thing that pops into your head. That's right, Frontier Medical. We've been doing it better than anyone else for over 20 years. From in-home nursing to physical therapy and so much more. Doctors and hospitals from Albuquerque to Lubbock and everywhere in between have been trusting their patients to us here at Frontier Medical. So when it's time to make a choice, remember Frontier Medical. 575-627-1112. Frontier Medical.
Name to remember. Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed, antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
So you think drinking alcohol can't hurt you? It'll mess you up big time. Say adios to large chunks of your brain. Major damage is already being done. Other parts of your body are getting wrecked too. Forget about sports, forget about school, forget about doing much of anything. Underage drinking freaks out your body, messes up your life.
Sponsored by the NMDOT.
Roswell Skin Center, a brand new state-of-the-art facility located in the 400 Penn Plaza building here in Roswell, is now accepting new patients. Dr. Brandon Cometti and his team offer a full range of skin care services, including general dermatology, surgical and cosmetic procedures, including cutting-edge laser rejuvenation, Botox, filler, laser hair removal, chemical peels, and other non-invasive options to improve skin health and turn back the hands of time. Call and schedule your appointment at Roswell Skin Center today, 208-2509. That's 208-2509.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Turtles can breathe through their butts. We imagine you know some people who do that too, because that's where their heads reside. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:30 on the nose here, and joining us in studio this morning from the Chaves County Health Council, Jennifer Smith and Joanne Lopez back with us. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing today? Thanks for hanging out. I know we got you in a little bit later than anticipated, but
no problem.
But at least we're not uber hot or uber cold in here today. Usually, usually it's one or the other, and then they're like, all right, I don't want to be here any longer than I have to. But first off, good morning. How are you guys doing?
Excellent.
Great.
How's life at the Health Council this morning?
Busy. Gosh, we've been so busy.
Well, it's it's a good thing because obviously the COVID world and everything, it's all about health, and people have a lot of questions. They have a lot of concerns. There's very polarizing opinions one way or another on what to do on this thing. And that's why the event we're talking about here is so important. This is and we've talked about we had you guys on about a month ago. The University of New Mexico, UNM, they're doing a study. I guess you could say it's the official term, the technical term, study. But they're doing some research to kind of find out why New Mexicans, why aren't they getting the vaccine? What are the reasons why? How can we help you either understand what, separate fact from fiction here, because, in the information world we live in, it's great because you got information at your fingertips, but not all the information is correct information. Yes. Getting quick information has kind of, it used to be getting it right. And then in the world of the internet and everything else, that slowly shifted from getting information right to getting it out first and quick. And with that sacrificed quality of content. That being said, there's a lot of information out there, some of it excellent, some of it not so much. And so people are basing their decisions on whether to get this or not based on this information. So UNM's trying to find out, well, what's people learning out there? What do they think? What's going on? Of course, if you want to know and looking for information yourself and it's saying, I heard this, is this true? They can talk to you about that and say, well, or no, or yes, or whatever. Yes. And then on the other side, too, if you're coming out and you're saying, you know what, I want to get a vaccine, they're going to be doing that, too, here. So I think I just set the table.
Well, I think we're done.
See you guys next week. But is that pretty much the kind of the whole point of this event here on November 9th?
Yeah, it's just for us to learn what's out there. What are people thinking in our county? Why are they getting it or not getting it? Okay. We want all opinions. We want
And I'm guessing because, if you lived here at any point in the last 2 years, know that southeast New Mexico's kind of bucked the curve on the mandates and everything like that. So I imagine they're really, really more interested in hearing from people in this part of the state
Whereas in other parts, they're hearing a different story. So why is it us versus them? Why is it different? And they really are looking to learn that information. So, if you're like, if you really want to know why I don't, tell them this is your chance to say this is it, and vice versa. If you're like, I've been heard this, and this, but is it true? Well, let's talk about it and let's break it down and let's say, because and here's the thing. And every time you hear rumors and things, there's always like a shred of truth and it kind of blows up into stuff. Obviously there's a lot of political talk in this one. So that creates its whole category of dissension and confusion to begin with. So really that's what the UNM event here on November 9th is about. It's really trying to separate fact from fiction, finding out exactly what's out there, what information's being told, and what's being what are people believing. We need to know this, so we need to confirm or deny these things and do all that. And then obviously, if you're just saying, hey, I need a shot, maybe I need my booster. I don't know if you're doing are they doing the boosters or just the initial two? And
if any type of shot, they're going to have what are the two? Moderna and Pfizer. Those are the 2-shot ones. Those are the ones that they're going to have there.
Okay, not the Johnson & Johnson.
No, they're not going to have the Johnson & Johnson.
Although that's not one shot anymore if you're getting a booster. I guess that's now a two-shot too. But so the events, this is an in-person event this time. And there's swag and food and everything else. But it's going to be happening November 9th, which is, what date is it?
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Next Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. And it's going to be at 500 North Main Suite 102. What building is that? Do you know off the top of your, is that
the SunWest Center?
The SunWest Center, okay. Yeah,
the bank. I call it.
When I say the Bank of America, I say it too, but then they yell at me.
Bank of America building.
I say Bank of America building, and then every time someone yells at me, it's not the Bank of America building. It's like, I know.
You know what I'm talking
about. I tell everybody it's the old Bank of America building.
The artist formerly known as the Bank of America. But it'll be there from about 11:30. Everything will get underway. Lunch will be provided if you RSVP. You got it. Doesn't cost you anything. It's free, but they got to know you're coming so they can plan the amount of food.
And guys, it's catered by Peppers.
Oh, nice.
Food. You know that.
So it's going to be hot and fresh because it's coming from just downstairs.
Right
Actually, 102. It'll be on the same floor. You don't even have to go up steps or an elevator or anything. But so Peppers will be on the grill here for the event. And then of course, all participants will also receive a $25 gift card too. So you can go out and buy some maybe a Christmas gift.
There you go.
Or use it for yourself and put it towards a movie or a massage or something.
Now, Mike, also, if they cannot come in person or they're not comfortable doing that, we will have the Zoom set up also.
Okay, so if you want to do the virtual, it's kind of hard to feed you lunch that way.
Yeah, they won't get lunch. We'll still get the gift card.
I can't fit the salami through those little... never mind. I'm kidding.
We can try it.
I don't know. Can you fit a green chili through the... but no, you need to RSVP. Now, the way to do that is very easy. Just call. You can actually call 211, which is your health counsel's.
My phone right here.
Yeah, it's the info. What's the technical term on that?
It's
what it's
the
called?
211 information line.
Yeah, I call it the information line, but I know if there was like a more technical term here.
Nope.
But if you don't want to do that, and you're like, no, I want to dial more than 3 numbers. No problem. 575-910-0465. Again, that's 575-910-0465, and you'll call and you can get RSVP'd for the event. Or if you're like, no, that's way too many numbers. 211. Send. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
Hey, you can also message us on Facebook.
Okay. Travis County Health Council does have a Facebook page. Shoot a message there, and they'll be happy. Matter of fact, you'll see the flyers promoting this event, and they'll talk about all that's going to be happening, the who, what, where's, and when's, and how to do this. But
Mike, and we do want everybody to understand that this is a non-judgmental conversation.
Yeah, this is not political. This is not,
all.
This is a fact-finding information session.
Yeah, we're not going to try and change your mind. If you have your mind made up, then that's fine. If you just have questions that you want answered before you get your vaccine, then come and we can absolutely do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's just it. I mean, information's the key. If you have questions, if you're concerned about something, don't have, every other time in a health world, You talk to your doctors. You talk to healthcare professionals. What's this thing on my arm? This is no different. Talk to those healthcare professionals.
And make sure that they have the correct information.
And those are the folks, and that's what this event is about, is to help get good information, find out what the bad information is, and let's see what we can do about that, and because it's crazy. But once the political talk gets in there, there's all kinds of stuff, like there's mind-altering tracking devices to all kinds of weirdness that people come up with out of this stuff.
Oh yeah, we've heard all of it. I think one of the things that we heard was that they weren't sick until they went and got a COVID test, and they were giving them COVID with the COVID test. And they're like, wow.
Well, see, and I used to believe that.
Sure.
I used to believe that. And then when I went for my shot, I would talk to them. They said, no, this is not a live virus.
Sure. Yeah, it'd be impossible
and then
to do that.
they educated me in that. And then
and that's just it, too. And I think where people mistake that kind of stuff is that because you're, in essence, kind of setting your immune system up to recognize this thing, in the process of your body doing that, it may show some of the symptoms that you get. So it's like if it's testing your body to try to get it ready, think of it as you got a boxing match tomorrow, and this shot is like telling you to go to the gym and start punching the punching bag. You know what I mean? That's kind of what's going on. But you know what happens when you punch the punching bag? You get tired. You get worn out. And that's, I know that's very loose rubber, but in essence, that's kind of what's going on there when we talk about the vaccine and all that. So you're not getting the virus. You're getting trained for it, which in essence is, wearing you out a little bit while it's prepping your body to when this sucker does attack you. It's like, oh, that's what that is. You're gone.
Yeah, it teaches your immune system what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that was very common. Please talk to a real doctor, but in essence, that's kind of what's going on.
We do not have a boxing ring.
I'm a dumb DJ, and that's it. That's all I'm saying. But you know what I mean? That's kind of what's going on there. But But again, the event now, it's going to be from 11, starting at 11:30. What does it? About an hour, 2 hours? What do they have a time?
Hour to an hour and a half is the plan. They plan to start the actual Q&A portion of it at noon. So everybody will have a chance to get their lunch and eat a little bit before we start asking questions.
Actually, get a nice Pepper's meal in you.
Absolutely.
Get nice, and that way you're not hangry.
Yeah.
Yes.
We don't want you hangry talking. We want you nice and good. Because, we don't feed you. And then you come in there like, wow, this is bad. Like, give the guy Snickers. And then, Snickers. And then Snickers, we're good to go. But
and, like on our Facebook page, we do have posts of the event. And we've had a few little comments, and we appreciate that. And we invite them to come on over. Come on, let your voice be heard.
It's about information, asking questions and getting informed, because at the end of the day, we respect your decisions.
Yes.
But the one thing we want you to do is make that decision informed.
Yes.
It's unfair of any of us to make a decision when we don't have the information to make a good decision.
Correct.
And so you're doing a disservice to yourself by not coming out and participating in this, because any decision you make, if you don't do your own research, you're relying on somebody else. And in a world like this, maybe that's the last thing you should do when it comes to your own personal decisions. You sit there and say, hey, what's best for me and my family?
Yes.
I need to talk to the people I trust, the experts I trust. And 9 times out of 10, that's the guy the guy or gal that went to college for 8 years and went to medical school and did all that other stuff they did too. And so that's what we need to do. And if nothing else, this event will kind of steer you in that direction, tell you this is what, but especially if you're hearing the stuff that's completely way just.
I'm telling you, my daughter said, put a coin up against there. Stick to you. I'm like,
2 minutes of common thinking, or just 2 minutes of critical thinking will kind of dispel that rumor. But let's talk about it.
Yeah, the folks from UNM, they're going to watch our Facebook page and our posts to see if there are questions that they can answer, so they can come prepared with those answers.
It's a study. It's research. They're trying to learn here. It's a fact-finding mission. It's not an agenda-based. The agenda is what's going on. We need to learn, and that's what it is. So they're going to where the comments, your information takes them. If it takes them down a rabbit hole, then guess what? We're going down a rabbit hole. But that's kind of what's going on here. By the way, if you're like, well, I've already made up my mind, I'm getting the shot, I need to go get it, come on out, because anybody 12 and up can get their vaccines on the 9th here. Yes. So not quite ready for the 2 or whenever they just approved yet. Or is it 2 years and up yet? I can't remember what it is.
I think it's 5.
5. That's what it is.
5 to 11.
Yeah.
We weren't quite prepared, and whenever we planned all of this, it was not approved yet.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm guessing too. And again, I'm no doctor here, but I'm guessing the amount of dosage differs depending on the size of the child and things like. I'm guessing. I don't know, but I'm guessing a 5-year-old dosage. You don't need a full adult dose because it's got less body to travel through. You know, I mean, I'm no genius. I'm just kind of speculating why you can't just one needle's not good for everybody. It's like, well, I think you know, you want to give it's like think of children's aspirin versus adult aspirin. You don't want the quantities in there because it'll impact them much more than it would you. But anyway,
we're going to have La Casa out there giving the vaccines. And it's going to be completely separate from the listening session. You don't have to participate in one to go to the other. If you just want to come for your vaccine, just come. Sure. Between 11 and 3.
Now, if you want to, you're more than welcome to. If you want to go and maybe you're on the fence and you're like, I'm going to go to the listen session, and then if they convince me, I'm going to walk in the other room and go get a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that too.
and we're not there to convince them. We just want the education to educate.
Exactly. I should say that. Again, it's not the point of this meeting.
That's not our goal.
However, if you do get, if the questions you had and get answered, and you're like, oh, well, if that's the reason, then I'm convinced. I'm going to do that. Then by golly, we'll get you shot up and get you protected here. But you're not under any obligation. You're not going to be coerced. You're not going to even be thought of as weird because of your opinion. They just want to know what's going on here. It's not judgmental, even if it sounds ridiculous. Like I heard Martians put tell us. We want to know that because if that's legit, that people think Martians technologies in this stuff, then we want to know that.
Yes.
I haven't heard that rumor, by the way. I just threw that out.
We welcome all opinions. You know, we do ask that it's all respectful talk, you know.
Sure.
And we want to keep it that way.
Because let's face it, I mean, as a guy, I've been vaccinated. I haven't had my booster yet, but I've had the first 2 and all this. And as a guy, I was in the military. I got poked and prodded with everything anthrax. I was part of that group. So my brain was already like, well, I've kind of already been down this road. What's another trip? So I didn't really, you know, I don't have the concerns that other people would. However, I understand that. I understand that, you know, I mean, the science is there and you can do all that. But we look at polio. We look at these other things we had vaccines for, and it took a much longer time to go from outbreak to vaccine. And this went in basically less than a year. We went from outbreak to a vaccine available. And that's an amazing feat in technology. But on the same token, you're like, oh, wait a minute, that was awful fast. And I get that. I understand that. And if you have questions and want to know more, it's like, why is this so quick? What's being... Are they cutting corners, or is there testing that's not being done? Because and I understand if you have that, because how many times have we been out there in the world and you get like those Dexatrim and those commercials for these weight loss drugs, and they're talking about how safe they are, and then a year later people are dying of cancer from them because they said, "Oh, wait a minute, the FDA didn't check this one out as much," you know. So people are trained that way, and they're applying that to this. And so that's why we need to know: is that what you're thinking? Is that what's going on? We need to talk about this, and then. If that's your ideology, then maybe we can point you some resources that'll show you that how this research done was different than, say, the polio vaccine from back, you know, in that time period. And not to mention, we've gotten a little bit more technologically advanced since the Spanish flu and polio and these kind of things have happened.
Absolutely.
They did all this with slide rules and paper and and calculations and trial and error. Here we had computers kind of doing a lot of that work for us. And
that makes sense.
That speeds up immensely what's going on.
And I think also just having the world scientists working on this one problem together.
It's kind of like,
come on.
It's kind of like when you talk about, like, say, other world pandemic cancer, things like that. When we talk about raising money, that's why it's so important, because the more money, the more eyeballs that are working on it. And the more eyeballs that are looking at it, the more ideas, the more angles, and the quicker we find a solution. You know, look at Alzheimer's right now. They're close to that breakthrough. It's because of that constant funding, that reminders of talking about it and putting in millions of dollars every day in research on this stuff, that finally someone said, we got it. And I think that's how we fix medicine. That's right now in the world we live in, you got to treat it like but anyway, I'm getting off track. Getting off track again here. But if you have these questions, if you have concerns, if you have, and like you said, it doesn't matter if it's way out in left field or something that seems a little more closer to home. They want to know about it. They want to know because that's just it. We hate for people to get sick and die because they made a decision based on bad information.
Yes.
And that's the part that now, I'm not a mandator in any way, shape, or form. I'm pro-vaccine, but I'm not one to tell people you need to do this. It's not my job, no more than I want you telling me what to do. So I will never tell people, but I would hate for people to make a decision because what's best for them, because based on a fact that they got information that was not good.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I'm upset about. If you hear all the information and still don't want it, God bless you. That's your decision.
Absolutely.
But if you get told bad information and your decision's based on that bad information, then that's wrong. That's a travesty.
That's like yesterday during a meeting, one of the ladies from UNM had mentioned that some of the patients on the hospital beds dying of COVID at that time, they say they wish they would have taken the vaccine.
Because they heard this story or that story.
Yes.
And that's sad. And that's really sad because that can be avoided. So come to this meeting on the 9th. Come out, RSVP, get your free Peppers lunch.
Hey, now.
Get your free 25. Take advantage of all the swag.
Look at that.
It's your reward for giving this information and saying, I'm going to take time because this is important. Don't blow this off. If you're legit having concerns or if you're anti-vax, please come out and share your reasons why. Share it. This is not to judge you. This is to find out what's going on. We want to know. We need to know.
We need to let everybody know that we have a Spanish session that's going on, and then the English speaking.
Very good. Yeah, I only printed
It'll
the
be
English
happening at the same time.
Okay.
So you come whether you speak English or Spanish, and then we'll split up for the listening session into separate groups.
How's your Espanol, Joanne?
Not very good.
Okay, because I was saying they call 211.
I taught myself.
Okay.
I know that.
But if they call 211 and you answer the phone, you're gonna.
I'll get by.
Can you get through with them in some Spanish?
I will get by.
Very good. So you can call that 211 and Joanne will help you there.
Yes, they call the same number. Absolutely.
But there is links. If you go to the Chaves County Health Council Facebook page, you'll find the information there in English and Spanish.
Yes.
So if you're like, I'm having trouble reading it, go to the Spanish one, and it's got all the same information, same links, same everything you need. So that way, if you're having trouble kind of comprehending here because of the language, go to the Facebook page. You'll find it all there.
Yeah, it was important for us to have it in English and Spanish so that we could reach all of Chaves County.
Well, and I don't know if you guys see stats and stuff, but like the percentages of not vaccination, are they breaking it down by nationality and things? And what's those numbers look like?
They are.
Yesterday during the meeting, she said that our area.
She said that the English speaking is really high on vaccination rates, and the Spanish speaking is really low on vaccination rates. And some of it is that language barrier.
Okay.
They're not able to get their questions answered to where they understand them, and that's also why we're really pushing to get those people to come.
And I always wonder if there's a cultural, cultural separation there where people feel, if they culturally don't, say, hey, this looks untrusting. I'm just saying
they're not trusting them.
And let's face it, Hispanic culture is steeped in tradition, religious faith, and things like that. And I could imagine some of that confusing with some of the other information, and so there might be some cultural reasons in there too. But either way, we want to know this.
Yes.
We want to learn this, and if I'm way off base, tell them on UNF so they can learn it. This is us taking shots at the dark here on why people. Hey, we're speculating on why you think this is bad, but till we hear from the the horse's mouth here, it's not. It's all us taking shots in the dark, or taking educated guesses,
and if it's transportation issues, something like that.
Sure. Maybe it's something simple logistics, I don't know where to find them. Well, if you don't know where to find them, that's one we can fix.
Yes.
Maybe it's something as simple as that. We all assume it's something more complex, but maybe it's like, I don't know where to get them. I just don't know. And maybe that's if that's the case, we're going to fix a lot of people real quick. It's going to be a short meeting, but
while they're eating,
yes, hurry up and eat. The meeting's over. No, I'm just kidding. But no, this is come on. Again, it's November 9th. It's going to be 11:30 a.m. and it's going to be at the SunWest Building, 500 North Main Suite 102, right near Peppers. There, Peppers you'll smell Peppers because they're going to be providing the lunch.
Oh yeah.
It's free event, but you do have to RSVP to get the $25 gift card and the lunch. Now, if you've completely spaced and don't care about those things and show up on November 9th, come on in. We'll be happy to talk to you, but no lunch for you.
Right. And also remember, if you want to attend by Zoom, call 211 and we can send the link.
Send the link to you and get that, and then. And again, it'll all start at 11:30. By the way, if you'd like to get the COVID-19 vaccination, 12 and up, they will be offering at this event. Do you need to RSVP for that, or can you just show up and get a shot?
That you can just show up and just get your shot.
Okay, bring your card if you got one already. If it's like if you don't have, like if it's your second shot or booster, or unless it's your first shot, you've got a card. Bring that.
Now, is there a charge for the shot?
No charge.
No charge.
Those are free.
Awesome.
As well.
Do they get a choice of Pfizer or Moderna, or is it whatever's available?
I think that they can choose because they're going to have both.
Okay.
So.
And I forget now because when it comes to the boosters, they're okay with mixing
I'm
now.
not mixing mine.
I don't plan on either. I'm going to get, I got Pfizer the first time. I'm going to go Pfizer.
But we've heard both. We've heard you can mix, then we heard no, don't mix.
Okay.
There's another.
Well,
we're going to leave that up to the medical professionals.
I say my guess is if you have a question about that, when you're out there next Tuesday, ask the person that's going to be administering the vaccine and say, hey, do I get a choice? Does it matter? I had Pfizer the first time. Can I do Moderna now? Should I or should I not? Because I've heard both. I've heard it's better sometimes. I've heard a couple reports say, no, it's actually better to mix them. I've heard others that say don't. So again, there's a lot of information out there. Talk to the people, the experts about it. That's what this meeting's all about. So, but, and again, you can call 211 direct, and Joanne will be the one that answers here. But if you want to dial more numbers, 575-910-0465. Again, that's 575-910-0465. Or log on to Facebook, go to the Chavez County Health Council Facebook page, just type in Chavez County Health Council in the search. It'll be the first thing that pops right up. You'll click on there. I encourage you to like and follow it because there's always some good information there. But then if you have a question or want more information or anything, you just shoot a message through there and someone from the Health Council will get back to you pretty quick. Probably
It'll
Jennifer.
Me or Joanne. One of the two. Joanne's at it too because she's taking over.
Good deal. So it could be both. So excellent. Is there anything we missed? Anything we want to share that we just spaced out or got sidetracked on?
No, we need more people to show up.
Come.
Yes.
It's a study. Without the people, we can't.
Hey,
get that
nothing
data.
Else, come out, get you some delicious Peppers food, and get you a gift card, free $25 gift card. Do some shopping. That'll go towards Christmas shopping and everything else. Yes, we really want that information, but if we got to dangle the carrots for some free food to get that from you, that's what it takes. Come on down. We'll get you a sandwich. Figure it out. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out too.
No problem. Thank you.
And we'll see you all next time. Okay.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Enjoy the extra hour this weekend. I'm excited about that. I can't wait for my extra hour sleep. I can't wait.
Well, like my dad used to say, there's still 24 hours in a day. You're not more tired or less tired.
I know, but something about that mental.
It's the mental.
It's strong.
Yes.
It's strong. That Saturday night, like, it's only 8 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock. Yeah. Party time. Yeah. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right, 8:57. Quick break before news.
I'm Bill Alexander. Food banks across the country are pursuing major expansion projects, driven in part by their experiences during the pandemic, when they faced an explosion of need. So many people who had never had to ask for help found themselves in a position of needing it and not knowing where to go. Jeanette Bott, president and CEO of the Utah Food Bank, said. A business partner of a former Connecticut state representative charged with misusing more than $600,000 in federal COVID-19 relief funds was arrested Thursday in the same criminal investigation. John Bernardo of West Haven was arrested on a federal criminal complaint alleging wire fraud and conspiracy. On Wall Street, the Dow was down 33 points, closing at 36,124. The Nasdaq gained 128 to 15,940, and the S&P 500 up 19 points to 4,680. With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
The ultimate Wi-Fi experience is now available to you thanks to Smart Home Wi-Fi with Plateau. Get fiber-to-home technology 100 times faster than the average household internet speed. Plateau has multiple plans to fit your family. With Fast, get true 100 megs per second upload and download speed. With Faster, get true 500 meg. And with Fastest, get 16 gigs of download and upload speeds. Learn more at plateaufiber.com. Get the speed you need with Plateau. Tried, true, trusted.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I, live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/free. How much? Free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Alaska is the only state name that can be typed on one row of keys. Go ahead and try typing the other 49 states. We'll wait. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 9 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side of news.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The House in session as we speak, closing in on a vote on President Biden's almost $2 trillion Build Back Better plan, in addition to a $1 trillion infrastructure bill.
The House Rules Committee met late Thursday night to advance the final text of the social spending legislation. Next, the House convenes Friday morning to debate and vote on the package titled the Build Back Better Act. A vote to clear the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which has stalled in the House since its Senate passage in August due to progressive resistance, will follow. The Friday votes come 3 days after Democrats suffered a disappointing loss in the Virginia gubernatorial election, the first time in 12 years that Republicans won statewide, and only a year after Mr. Biden carried the state by 10 points. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Well, how about that newly released employment report? Bankrate.com's Greg McBride.
A very strong October jobs report saw strong job growth, income growth, a decline in unemployment, and particularly long-term unemployment.
Employers stepped up hiring last month, adding 530,000 jobs, the unemployment rate slipping to 4.6%. The attorneys general of 11 states filing suit against the Biden vaccine mandate for employers with at least 100 workers, a lawsuit filed in the St. Louis-based 8th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. It argues that the authority to compel vaccinations rests with the states and not with the federal government. The excitement is building in Atlanta, the city getting ready to celebrate the World Series champion Braves. Big parade step off at noon today, heading north through the city into suburban Cobb County. 1 million people expected to take part in day-long celebrations of the Braves' first World Series title since 1995. The rally rolls on Wall Street. Right now, the Dow is up 322 points. The Nasdaq ahead 88. The S&P 33 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Your pets have the same energy they used to? Do they have problems with itching, scratching, a dull coat, or goopy ears? Then your pets need Dinovite.
DINOVITE.com.
For over 20 years, pet owners have trusted Dinovite to supplement their pet's diet.
We started Dinovite, and in our first box, we noticed a difference.
Dinovite is an all-natural daily supplement made from whole foods that help support your pet's immune system, digestion, skin, and coat.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
Today's commercial pet foods are processed at high temperatures, which bakes out all the essential goodness. These processed foods can lack the essential vitamins, enzymes, and probiotics that contribute to overall good health. Adding a scoop of Dynavite to your pet's food bowl is the answer.
If you love your pets as much as I do, you'll want to do what's best for them to live long, healthy, happy lives.
I have 2 cats and 2 dogs. All 4 of them are on the Dynavite.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
The Dutch Supreme Court has upheld part of a Russian appeal against a $50 billion arbitration award to former shareholders of bankrupt oil giant Yukos.
This case involves the largest known arbitration award on record. The Supreme Court judges accepted one of Russia's grounds of appeal and said that the appeals court must reconsider claims that the former shareholders had committed fraud. Most Yukos assets were absorbed by Russian oil producer Rosneft. The former Yukos shareholders tried to recover their funds by taking their claim to the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague, from where the case proceeded through the Dutch legal system. And this judgment means the court battles could run on for years.
The BBC's Anna Holligan. Heavy rains causing flash flooding in Bosnia, prompting evacuations, causing power outages in the capital, submerging roads in some parts of the Balkan country. News and analysis at townhall.com. A rookie Kansas State lawmaker stepping down temporarily after being arrested.
21-year-old Democrat Aaron Coleman charged with domestic battery over a disturbance involving his brother. He says he's taking what he calls a leave of absence following a judge's order that he undergo a mental health evaluation. Coleman also calls the prosecution of him frivolous. He's pleaded not guilty to the battery charge. Jason Walker reporting.
Thousands of intelligence officers could soon face dismissal for failing to comply with the government's vaccine mandate, leading to concerns from Republican lawmakers about potentially hurting agencies that are crucial to national security. Several intelligence agencies had at least 20% of their workforces unvaccinated as of late last month. Let's get on Wall Street. The Dow's up 329 points. The NASDAQ 83 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. Leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel witch and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to our number 3.
Trace Inviernos.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Good morning. Yeah, let's say that's not the Congresswoman anymore. I just had to look up the video. You had the Congresswoman status.
Well, I'm flattered. But, yeah.
Thank you to the Health Council and, of course, Congresswoman Yvette Harrell for joining us last hour. Thanks to the Health Council for hanging out a few minutes later for me. I appreciate that. So,
absolutely.
Big thanks to them. Big thank you to McDonald's as well.
Yes, absolutely. Huge thanks.
Absolutely.
I'm chock full of oats.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
I just had a hash brown and tea, which I'm good with.
Dude, that is quickly becoming my favorite breakfast at McDonald's. I mean, I know
oatmeal
I
or hash brown and tea.
No, the oatmeal.
Oh, okay.
It's super filling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got everything. And what I've been doing, a little pro tip. So I take my coffee because you use do you ever do the thing like when you had oatmeal when you were a kid, you add milk to it?
I add milk to it now.
Still to this day, okay.
Yeah.
So I actually do heavy cream with it, but what I do is I'll just take a little bit of my coffee, splash it in there, mix it in. Oh, it's the best.
Yeah. No, I don't use water to make my oatmeal, my instant oatmeal. I'm not making, I ain't out there picking oats.
Right.
But yeah, when I buy my little quick oatmeal thing, I use milk. I heat it up with milk.
Yeah, one would imagine you kind of have to.
Well, it says water or milk.
Yeah, but ew. But anyways, add a little bit of that coffee, a little bit of your coffee to your oatmeal in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Mix it in. Oh, it's great.
Not my cup of tea, but I could see
how
people would be that.
Bowl of oatmeal. a little different than. I mean, I guess you can add tea if you wanted to. Weirdo.
A green tea oatmeal?
Ooh, a green tea might be good.
I had a green tea ice cream. Remember
Dude,
that?
green tea ice cream is legit.
Tasty, yeah.
I enjoy the It's usually like a green tea matcha flavored ice cream.
It's way better than the tea.
Because green tea by itself is kind of not really doesn't stand alone as an ice cream.
Well, and in all fairness, the green tea ice cream I had was like fried ice cream.
Oh, okay.
And which it was so it was caked in like I don't know, what do they cake it in? Granola or what do they do?
Usually it's cornflakes. I've heard it's like cornflakes.
Whatever it is, it was in that and it was good. It was tasty.
So I got to tell you, dude, I stumbled on this website.
Oh, hold real quick. Let me finish McDonald's.
We
got sidetracked here.
This is crazy.
Big thank you to McDonald's. Swing on by. They've got you covered. Definitely, it's McRib season.
Oh, yes.
Get your McRib on.
The animal in which they have to hunt to get the McRib is in season.
I think I might get a rib today.
Dude,
McRib.
that sounds awesome.
I think that's where I'm going with McRib.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good plan.
Yeah. So if you see me after lunch with a new shirt on, because I had McRib.
Because you didn't plan accordingly.
I am not something about the McRib gets me every time. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's tasty, but I every time spill McRib on me. Yeah. I don't know how it is. And it's always McRib. I'm good. You could load up 20 pounds of ketchup on a quarter pounder. Mm-hmm. I won't get a drop on me. If there's an ounce or a drop of McRib sauce on that thing, it's on my shirt.
Can I tell you a pro tip?
Oh.
Order it with extra sauce. Order it extra saucy, and they'll give it to you.
All right.
It's a saucy rib. It's the best way to do it.
If I'm going to get it on my shirt anyway,
that's right. If you're going to go, you might as well go for the gusto.
Yeah. All right. Why not?
I love it.
So I might come in after lunch today, and I'm going to have like a big ring of sauce around my mouth, like a 7-year-old, not even a 7, like a 4-year-old.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be me.
Heck yeah. That's a good look. Got your rib face on.
You can have it too, right now. Well, here in about an hour and a half. But yeah, you can have it at McDonald's. Swing on by your North Main McDonald's, your UFO McDonald's. They got you covered. And then coming soon, that South Main McDonald's.
Yes.
Definitely looking forward to that opening up. It's going to be way bigger.
It is huge. From what I can see from street side, it looks a lot bigger.
And if you remember the old one, there was only, about 12 booths really of seating. It wasn't that many.
It was made to be like a drive-through store, and they had
that little bit of seating on like the side there,
right,
and then a couple tables in the front, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
But now that's all changed. They'll have a
playland, the whole shebang bang.
Yeah. So can't eat from there today, but coming soon. Swing on by your UFO or your North Main McDonald's. Get you a McRib. Try that oatmeal Sean's talking about.
Dude, real good.
Get your oatmeal on. You're always thinking, well, I don't want anything fried for breakfast. Great. Get your oatmeal on.
That's right.
Get your juice. They got
Super
plenty of
filling.
stuff. They got plenty of stuff for for folks that do like to choose healthier options.
Mm-hmm.
They got you covered.
That's right. Don't let your healthier family members tell you can't have McDonald's for breakfast.
And these aren't healthier, but delicious. The pastries.
Yes.
If you're
Apple
thinking pastries,
fritters. Blueberry muffin's pretty healthy.
I love the muffin.
Yeah.
It's tasty.
You get your antioxidants. Boom, right there.
Yeah.
Real blueberries mixed in there.
I do enjoy them. So swing on by McDonald's. They got you covered. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Let's talk about the this website.
So I stumbled on this website via TikTok. It's called exoticboulevard.com. Basically, it was just this dude stacking a box with all kinds of like exotic snacks, like stuff from like Japan and stuff.
Okay.
So I clicked the link and I'm kind of browsing through. This looks like this website. I mean, if I had like $1,000 extra, this would be like our morning show's best friend. There's so many things on here I'm dying to try.
So we spend the whole day just trying these things on the show or on this website?
Just completely random stuff. Like the first thing that popped up on the list was these things called Skittles Blaster Gummies, which I guess are like these big Skittles gummies.
Interesting.
Lay's cheeseburger flavored. They've got Cheetos churros. They've got a, let's see.
I feel like there's been a Lay's cheeseburger flavor.
It probably has here, but it's not around now.
Yeah.
Lay's Spanish Tomato Tango. I love this. American style sour cream and onion.
Takes two to tango.
Which I'm genuinely curious what another country's take on American style food is.
Well, is there a European or Asian sour cream and onion flavor?
I'm guessing theirs is probably more like They probably don't have that flavor. They're like, this is American flavor.
Tastes like fish.
Should do that accent. Sun Chips garlic baguette. And here's where I got
I'd be down with that.
Yeah, that sounds delicious.
I'm a Sun Chip guy.
I love them.
I love their, like, the Harvest Salsa one or
that
whatever it is.
That particular crunch that they have.
Yeah, I think that would work with a baguette.
Now, here's where it got really interesting because they have Oreo Sakura Strawberry, and it's a strawberry flavored cookie along with strawberry cream, and a Oreo Green Plum flavored, which has a green, I'm guessing green plum flavored cookie.
So is that a plum that's not ripe?
No.
I've never heard of green plum.
Green plum is probably huge in Japan because the packaging is 100% Japanese writing. I mean, it's like something you would
Japan.
get.
Okay.
It's basically something you would get at
like Asian market.
At Asian market,
okay.
yes.
Gotcha.
We could get some plug in it. But this, and then I jump into wrap snacks. Now, wrap snacks were available here in America, and you can still get them in some places, like Dollar General and stuff. But these are basically, there was a company that partnered with a bunch of rappers like 10 years ago and came out with snacks based on some of these rappers' gimmicks, like Cardi B's barbecue cheddar pork skins, Cardi B's barbecue with honey pork skins.
Nice.
Then, of course, Cardi B's spicy vinegar pork skins.
How about Puffy's honeycombs?
No. But it's so funny you mentioned that because the next one down is Master P's barbecuing with my honey cheese puffs. Barbecuing Master P, where have you been? Apparently making wrap snacks. Yeah. Exactly. They got Frito-Lay's avocado cream cheese flavored.
I'd try that. That sounds kind of good.
Lay's,
it's Frito?
Yeah.
I'd try that Frito.
It's just Frito-Lay. It could just be like a Lay's.
But is it a corn chip, you think?
I don't think. It looks like a potato chip. Lay's spicy Korean ramen. And high-chews are the best. They have high-chews on here. I love those. Just
depends on the spicy.
Cream cheese garlic. Ooh, Doritos ketchup flavored.
I've had ketchup flavored chips.
That would be huge
potato
in Canada.
chips.
Yeah.
I've had ketchup flavored potato chips.
You can get Pao Mun Kung flavored Lay's.
I don't even know what that flavor tastes like.
Prick Pao Mun Kung. Hawaiian Punch cotton candy. Holy crap, that sounds good.
Can you even get Hawaiian Punch anymore?
Yes.
That's still a thing?
Oh, heck yeah.
I don't know if it's still for sale or it went out of business.
My son loves it.
Okay.
Grilled pork Lay's and sweet chestnut flavored Lay's. This is just the first page. So, Thomas, if you're listening.
Sounds like you need to go hit that website.
I'll get you the link.
Pork flavored Lay's? I feel like I've had that too.
Well, pork seems.
Like just general pork?
Well, no, it's not general. So it's grilled pork.
Okay.
But sweet chestnut. I would be curious to try sweet chestnut.
Is it different than a roasted chestnut?
Well, I'd imagine it's sweeter.
Do you roast it then sweeten it?
Probably.
Or do you sweeten it and roast it?
Or do you sweeten it and then roast it? Because then no, I would imagine it's
Or
sweetened.
is there no roasting?
It's sweetened after the fact because if you're going to have a chestnut, you're not going to go with that bad boy raw. You want it roasted. If Christmas music has taught me anything, you roast those bad boys over an open fire.
That's right. That's
Jack Frost does weird stuff to your face.
That's my knowledge of chestnuts. I don't even know if I've eaten a chestnut. I don't think I have. What's it look like? I don't even know what a chestnut looks like.
They're the round ones. If you ever bought the bag of
they're
holiday,
all round.
No. If you ever bought the bag of holiday nuts, you know the ones I'm talking about. They're the round ones that kind of have that little like white stuff at the top. Those are chestnuts. I've had.
Don't ring a bell.
They're not bad.
They're
not great, but they're not bad.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever had one. Maybe I have and just not realized what I'm having. But off the top of my head, it does not ring a bell. I mean, I've had many nuts in my day. Don't get me wrong.
Now, I'll tell you this. If I know anything about Mike Winters, this is a man who has had his fair share of nuts.
I have,
In and about his face.
Macadamian, Brazilian.
Peely?
Yeah, you name it. Cashew. I've done these.
I'll name it. Chestnut.
That's the one I don't know
You said you name it. I named it, and you haven't had it in your face.
And that's the one I'm saying. I don't know if I've had it. But then again, maybe I have once I see it. Maybe I'll be like, maybe that is something.
I pull up a picture.
And the only reason I say this is because my grandmother, for as long as I knew her, would keep a bowl of nuts, whole nuts, on a table in the dining room.
What the hell?
With the nutcracker there, and there would be walnuts in there, Brazil nuts, pecans, and maybe chestnuts. I don't know, but there was a whole cornucopia of nuts in shells in said.
That's a chestnut, a Buckeye.
Oh, I've had that. Yeah,
those are chestnuts.
That's a chestnut.
That's a chestnut.
I've had that.
Round with the white stuff at the top. Basically, a Buckeye if you're from that part of the country.
It's like an acorn without the little pine cone thing at the bottom.
Exactly. That's
Well,
I gotta go to country radio.
Now, can you eat an unroasted chestnut?
Sure.
Or is that just a faux pas. Like
I'm sure it's
like
probably
eating
not
raw hamburger or something.
It's not as tasty.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to get you sick like raw hamburger would.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. You're not going to get sick if you eat it, right?
I'm having chestnut tartare.
Well, I'm wondering. I know if we're living on the edge here. And
Yo, man, we go out in the woods every third Saturday and we eat unroasted chestnuts and trip balls.
I didn't know. I didn't know what the kids were up to nowadays. Let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. We're going to get you up to date with the weather and all that here in just a little bit. Molly Boyles with Main Street Roswell. She may join us here. She's having a bit of a dog situation. She got an escaped dog, so she's trying to get that taken care of. So if the dog is cooperative and comes home, she may join us here. If not, we may just have to move on and chit chat about some other stuff here. But, oh, good. My prescription's ready. I was wondering about that. Kim, you listening? But, yeah, if she, assuming the dog comes by, she'll join us. We'll talk about tonight's First Friday, which is happening beginning from usually they go about 5 to 8:30 or so, 5:30 to 8, somewhere in that ballpark. If you go to Main Street Roswell's Facebook page, you can see a complete list of all the participating merchants and all that. But we'll talk about that. But also, Main Street Roswell's getting everybody ready for the holiday season. And, of course, they're going to be doing the light displays and everything. Of course, partnering with, some major businesses and sponsors here in town, Excel Energy, Culligan Water, Pioneer Bank, Wendy Marley as well. They're going to be getting the lights back up here and everything else. But one other cool thing is the Main Street Roswell has released their Collector's Christmas Ornament fundraising event for Main Street Roswell. It's a beautiful 3D metal ornament, and it's got a image of the Chaves County Courthouse there in the center of it. And you can get those. Sweet. The dogs have been found. Awesome. Very good. So Molly's going to be here in just a few. But they're selling the 3D metal ornaments, the collector's item. They're limited supply, limited edition, $25 each, or you can get a pair for $40. You can get them at mainstreetroswell.org. But we'll talk more about that with Molly and, of course, First Friday here in just a little bit. Don't forget, also, Goddard Rocket Playoff Football is tonight as the Rockets will be at the Wool Bowl hosting Valley Vikings. Goddard is the 6th seed in the playoffs here. Valley, the 11th seed winner, will take on Roswell next weekend at the Wool Bowl. That game we'll have for you live streaming video at ksvptv.com and the Goddard Rockets channel. You can also listen to the game on our sister station, 106.1 FM Fierro. The Chris's will be calling the game tonight from the Wool Bowl there. And like I said, big playoff game. Roswell's the 3 seed, and Artesia is the 4 seed. I think that's right. And because they're top 4 seeds, both of those teams are on a bye this week and will play next week. Now, Artesia's on the other side of the bracket, so Roswell and Goddard will not see Artesia till like a championship type scenario. But Roswell and Goddard are on the same bracket, same side of the bracket. So Goddard's playing this week. If they win, they're going to be playing the Roswell Coyotes at the Wool Bowl next weekend. We don't have dates and everything because they got to play tonight's game and get that. My guess is they'll play that game Friday night, but that will be between the coaches to decide and everything else. But my guess is they'll probably, assuming Goddard wins, of course. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. They got to get past Valley here first. But if they win, more than likely that game will be on Friday. We'll see. All right, it is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty pleasant daytime high temperatures and fair weather expected for the weekend with high pressure parked in the southern and central plains and covering eastern New Mexico. We'll have sunshine today and our high in the mid to upper 70s, down to about 40 and clear for the overnight hours. And then tomorrow it looks like we'll be in the upper 70s and sunny, and then we'll break back into the low 80s and fair weather Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. And currently, I need to refresh my weather. Give me just a second here. There it is. Currently 39 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 89%. Winds currently out of the southeast at 5 miles per hour. Nice day today. Sunny. Highs in the upper 70s. 77 officially with south winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, skies will be clear. Looking at an overnight low of 40. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, another wonderful day. Sunny skies, a high of 79. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear with an overnight low of 43. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunday, we're going to bust through the 70s and go right into the 80s. Sunny skies, high of 82 on Sunday with south winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies with an overnight low of 45 for Sunday night. And then Monday, when you're back at it, school and work and what have you, mostly sunny, high of 81. And then looks like we'll be in the mid to low 70s for, 79 on Tuesday, but 74, 73 by Wednesday and Thursday, Veterans Day of next week. Hey, the fine folks at Richland have fresh inventory. Fresh inventory alert from Richland Chevrolet GMC on West 2nd. New inventory has arrived, including a 2022 Cadillac XT6 in crystal white tri-coat, a 2022 Chevy 2500 custom double cab with a 6.6 liter gas engine, a 2022 GMC 1500 Denali with a 6.2 liter engine in cayenne red, a 2021 GMC 15 Elevation Edition in satin steel metallic, and a 2021 GMC 1500 Elevation Edition double cab in dark sky metallic. So see these and all the vehicles available right now at Richland, and let them help you make your next vehicle purchase. Ride for the brand, Richland Chevy, Cadillac, and GMC on West 2nd or online at rlchevrolet.com. rlchevrolet.com. It's richlandchevrolet.com. rlchevrolet.com. All right, it is 25 minutes after 9 o'clock. Molly is on her way. Dog's recovered. So we're going to take a quick break. We can chit-chat for a minute.
I was wondering because I just texted Maria. I was like, well, we didn't.
No, she's on her way. Yeah.
Gotcha.
She had a dog. You know how that is. People that are dog owners know this. Every once in a while, especially if they're young and running free, they get out and then they kind of just keep going. And so then you got to chase around the neighborhood and scream and yell. You know that move.
Don't you?
We've all been there, done that. We've all been walking around to neighbors like, dog missing. Yeah, have you seen him? And nope. And then the dog's running loose up the street. You know how that goes. So she's getting her exercise and got that taken care of, and we'll be heading here in just a few, and we'll chit-chat about First Friday and the holidays and all that good stuff with Molly here in just a few. So First Friday's a lot of fun. If you've never been out, come out tonight. Come out and experience it. They've got the businesses, the participating businesses are open usually later. Some have their sales during the day. If you go to the Main Street Roswell Facebook page, you can see all the list of the participating businesses and everything for yourself. And that way you can kind of plan your night's activities and all that stuff. But usually there's music in places, free offerings, free samples of stuff, activities, things for the kids. I know, like we talked with Larry and Pat talking about their book, their children's book. They're going to be over at the Main Street Arts signing copies of that book. And you can get a copy. Kids' book.
Sir.
It's pretty. Go back and check that interview with Larry Sido, Pat Hiddle, talking about the local book here. It's really pretty cool little deal there.
That looks very interesting.
They're going to be out at Main Street Arts signing, among other things that are happening out there. So we'll talk with all that with Molly here in a few. It is 9:26. Probably should go ahead and just play a commercial break here, and then we'll be all ready to go when Molly can join us.
Comes on in.
Quick commercial break, and then we'll be back. Don't go away. I'm going to go eat a sandwich because I can. And we've been talking about food, and I'm getting hungry. So quick commercial break. We'll be back. Don't go away.
There's nothing like a good night's sleep. But if your old, worn-out mattress is keeping you up at night, then hurry to Glenn's Furniture and change your life. Glenn's carries Serta, the finest mattress in the world. Whether you prefer a traditional inner spring, a modern memory foam, or a hybrid that combines the best of both, Glenn's has the right size and right firmness in stock, specially priced and ready for free delivery. So don't lay awake another night. Head for Glenn's Furniture at the corner of Union and Alameda, making sweet dreams since 1953.
Kiwanis of Roswell and the Roswell Community Little Theater present the music of Simon and Garfunkel, performed by folk duo Swearingen and Kelly, Saturday, November 6th at the Roswell Community Little Theater. Fundraiser performance times will be at 2 p.m. and at 7:30 p.m. Reserved seats are $28 and VIP $40. Purchase tickets online at roswelltheater.com or call 575-513-8119. Don't miss this fundraising tribute to the magical sounds of Simon and Garfunkel by Swearingen and Kelly, Saturday, November 6th, 2 and 7:30 p.m. at the Roswell Community Little Theater.
Have you ever had anything precious entrusted to your care? Maybe it was the family pet or a house-sitting job. Perhaps it was your first car or a big promotion at work. We're all called to be good stewards of many things in life. Take a moment to reflect on your own lifestyle. How are you managing your time? Are you putting your talents to work? Are you being a good steward of the treasures that you've been blessed with? Winston Churchill once said, "We make a living by what we get a life by what we give." Time, talent, and treasure, these are all valuable resources that we are to manage responsibly and to give of freely. It was clear from the beginning that man was created to work, and that work is the stewardship of all that God has entrusted to us.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell. Did you know that most burglaries occur during the day? Why, you ask? Most of us are at work, leaving the burglar to go unnoticed. Did you know the average loss from a home burglary is over $2,200? Not including one's loss of emotional security in their own home. Avoid being a burglar's target market and get a monitored security system from Zenith Security Services, all for around $1 a day. Wouldn't you agree that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure? Call Zenith Security Services today, 626-3521.
If you're a person who has more to do than you have hours in your day, and everything seems to take priority over your own health, then you're going to love the Loveless MyChart Secure Patient Portal. You can message your doctor, make an appointment, or view lab results anytime, day or night, on your computer or smartphone. Print a list of your medications at the click of a mouse, or even compare previous tests to map your health progress. Loveless MyChart connects you to better health. Anywhere, anytime.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Procrastinators Club of America newsletter is called Last Month's Newsletter. Their first newsletter should be released any day now. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 9:30, and joining us in studio this morning from Main Street, Roswell, Molly Boyle's with us. Good morning.
Good morning. It has been a rough morning for me.
Your morning's gone to the dogs here.
Oh, my gosh. Two of my dogs got out, and I didn't even know if I was going to make it here today.
Well,
so, yeah.
I guess they decided, Molly needs some running. Let's go make her run for a little bit.
Are you kidding me? I drove. I don't know what you're thinking. No, I did do some walking, but I did not do any. I don't run.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, unless something's on fire.
Nope, my knees and hips will not allow me to run. That's for sure.
Well, good news is dogs are back home safe, so all is right in your world
yes,
again.
Yes, I was terrified because of the fog.
Sure.
It was foggy. I live on the north end of town, and it was just foggy enough that I thought I've got a little dachshund.
Yeah.
And those little guys, they're so low to the ground, and I thought, oh, no.
Yeah, you won't see it till it's too late.
That was...
Well, good news is all is good. The dogs are back home.
Yes.
Back living large at the house there. So.
Yes, it was definitely the adrenaline's up high. The blood pressure has started to come back down.
Good
so
deal.
We should be okay.
Thank folks on all the work you got to do.
right?
But good news is we got a lot of fun tonight. Tonight is First Friday.
Yes.
It is the first Friday in November. And, it's not Christmas yet, but we're not far from it.
Well,
so,
we're already getting geared up for the holidays. And tonight is Harvest from the Heart.
Yes.
And so many of our merchants are collecting items for different nonprofits.
Yeah, so bring some canned foods and food stuff items to help out if you can.
I know Imagine That and Farmhouse on 2nd and Victoria at Euphoria Hair Salon. They're all collecting both canned goods and things like beanies and jackets and
clothing items,
gloves.
Warm weather apparel.
The weather's fixing to get. We've had some cool mornings.
Yeah,
but it hasn't gotten cold yet, and people really need to be prepared for those times. And there are people that don't have the ability to go out and buy a jacket.
You know what's the nicest gift you can give that way? That's going to be. I know it's not the most sexiest or any of that stuff. Buy wool socks.
Yeah.
Seriously, grab wool because they keep you warm and you're wet.
Yes.
So for folks that are like homeless, things like that, wool socks are a godsend for them. So that if you can think about you're getting some hats, jackets, whatever, grab a couple pair of wool socks. And throw
wool
in there.
socks are a whole different critter. If you've never worn wool socks, if you've always gone with cotton, once you've worn wool socks on a really cold day, you will never go back to cotton during the cold weather. That's for sure.
And the beauty of it is wet, dry, doesn't matter. It keeps them warm.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
It's great. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So just if you're like wanting to say, I want to do that, and you're trying to think of things, wool socks is a godsend. That's a great one. I mean, they need the coats, the hats, the canned goods, all of that. But if you're thinking about it, grab a pair or two of those wool socks and throw it in there too.
Yes. That's a fantastic suggestion. Thank you, Mike.
No problem. And of course, Imagine That they've been here forever and part of the community and everything. So every time they're doing stuff for the community, it's a good thing. So come on out and be a part of it.
And I know that Community Disaster Relief, Enrique is going to be, I believe, parked out in front of White Mattress Company because they are also taking in donations of hats, jackets, beanies. They're especially looking for. Many people will have a jacket, but not necessarily gloves or a beanie.
Okay.
So, and the socks. So those are the things I think they're trying to focus on right now is to make sure that they have those additional pieces.
Okay. So if you can bring some by there too.
Yes.
I know they would always appreciate monetary donations too,
absolutely.
because they kind of a jack of all trades at Community Disaster Relief.
Yes.
The scenario in which they go to help people may not be the same every time. So they kind of have to be jack of all trades to kind of handle whatever problem's going on in there, whether it's a fire or something different,
Right. Yeah. Well, during the flooding, I know he went out and helped people. He's been there for people, fires. We had a couple of years ago, there was a family that had a loss due to a car accident, and he was able to help that family get what they needed. They weren't local, if I remember correctly, and they needed a hotel room and things like that.
And so they help out with that kind of stuff.
He was able to help in that manner also, not just, he really does have a very large array of people that he helps.
Yeah.
It's not just the homeless. It's not just those who have.
It's people that need help.
Right.
And if they come across his path, he helps them. And
Absolutely.
So he doesn't necessarily know what he's going to run into on a given day, but he wants to be prepared for whatever it is. So help out where you can. Monetarily is a good thing, but definitely bring some hats and gloves and some socks and a coat or two if you can buy there too. So do they I mean, obviously, they probably will take all children's and adults, but as far as demand goes, do you know if there's more demand for children's or adults or clothing, men's? Is there a particular they're shorter of than others, or have you heard?
I have not heard. Okay. I do know that there are several organizations that focus on children.
Okay.
So I would imagine that the majority of those needs are met because there are several different organizations that focus
so they'll
there.
take whatever they can get and they'll categorize it. But I don't know, sometimes people aren't donating kids' coats. We need more kids' coats or something like that.
And there's always a need for every age group.
And you can be, you know what, if you want to know more specific like that, reach out to each of the organizations.
Oh, yes.
They'll be happy to talk to you. Imagine that if you want to say, hey, is there certain foods you could use more than others? They'll be happy to say, we're short on soup or whatever it is. They can bring that.
Yes.
Yes. Definitely. So so if you really want to get involved, do that. But if not, just bring some coats and some canned goods and with you stuff up. You know what? Get you 3 or 4 of those reusable sacks, fill them up with stuff, empty them at these various places, and then refill them up with your shopping and stuff at the end. So then you've done the perfect evening.
Absolutely. Well, and I know, so Farmhouse on 2nd said that if you'll bring, you will bring at least 5, I believe it was 5 canned goods.
Okay.
You get 20% off of anything in the store.
Nice.
Any one item in the store, and that can make a big difference when you're starting that Christmas shopping, guys. Just saying.
And I'm just saying, I'm not a math wizard here, but you can get 5 cans for like $2 or $3, depending if you catch them on sale.
Right.
And what it is in the can, of course.
Yes.
But that 20% could be, depending on what you buy, could be hundreds of dollars.
It
so
could be.
do the math there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and she carries oh gosh, now my daughter's going to strangle me. She's got some jewelry over there that my daughter just loves, and
they got
that's
everything
on the list.
for everybody. So fellas, like they've got cool stuff that you would like at decor and things, but ladies, if the foo-foo, women-y things, they got all, and so it's not just women stuff. It's stuff for guys and stuff, football, manly things and interests too. It's not just it's really stuff for everybody. And of course, obviously, if you love like kind of that old West or that rustic theme, they definitely got you covered there too.
Yes, and that's one of those that kills me every time I go in there. I'm like, oh yeah, I could blow so much here. I'd be headed for, I'd be in a lot of trouble. The husband would be like, excuse me?
Well,
you're not allowed back in that store.
Get yourself out of trouble. Bring 5 cans with you.
There you go.
And then you say, see, I saved money.
I saved us.
That's good logic.
Well, you can always try.
Sure.
But tonight we also have GDP's going to be out there at Reichman. So
awesome.
we're just now getting back into being able to have music and so
forth.
So we've got.
I think I'll be at Reichman.
Reichman.
Awesome.
Yes.
Which for folks that aren't of Reichman Park, it's the park right there between 3rd and 4th Street here.
On the west side.
If you've never been there, go in there and look around. The murals, the tile work. It's beautiful. It's just a place you can sit down. You know what? If you work downtown or in the area, go get you a sack lunch and sit there and have lunch one day and enjoy it. Yeah.
And many, I don't know how many of the people listening might have been part of that. The tiles, many of those tiles on those benches, they have signatures on them.
Aren't kids made all? Or I don't remember the story, but I know there's a story.
Anybody could go and sign a tile, and then it was fired and painted and so forth to put into the project.
I knew there was a community.
And then there was also not just the signature tiles; there were decorative tiles that are mixed in. And then the artists went through and made replicas of postcards, actual postcards.
Oh, cool.
Postcards that are at the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico. The artists went through and made duplicates of those.
So it's all customized stuff. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew there was a lot of local involvement in those tiles. I didn't remember all the stories about it. But and so to be honest, that's kind of a game if you want. You can go and... Because there's, like in Artesia, if you've ever been to their Heritage Walkway in Artesia, same kind of deal. You could spend hours. They've got a little canal, I guess you could call it, that kind of goes through the river kind of thing. And it's full of all kinds of hidden Easter eggs and gems and like the tile work and things. The tile work in Reichman Park, very similar to that. You could spend hours kind of looking through there and seeing like these various postcards and things like that.
And then friends' names, the signatures
looking
of
for
friends.
people you know and things like that. Absolutely.
Yes.
And if you're on one of those kind of fun nights doing that tonight, go on over into Pioneer Plaza while you're walking around. Look at the statues there. A lot of hidden gems and stuff in there too.
Yes.
So if you like looking for that kind of, use tonight as like a way to do that, do some shopping and all that. But while you're there at Reichman Park, enjoying the music and all that stuff, take a look at that tile work.
I know that the statue at Pioneer Plaza has a bunch of Bible verses.
Yeah, the Chisholm statue there. Yeah,
yes.
There's a lot of.
There's references to the Bible verses, not written out, but the reference numbers.
Yeah. It's a lot of homages to things.
And,
which is not uncommon in artwork and things for the artists to kind of put Easter eggs or something. I know we're getting off topic here, but just a quick example.
Why am I hearing dogs? Those are not my dogs.
I don't know. It could be. I stopped asking questions a long time ago. But if you go the National Gallery, the National Cathedral, I'm sorry, it's in Bethesda, Maryland, but DC, the ornateness of that. But there's like gargoyles and things all around it. If you look, the artist rendered, there's one that looks like Darth Vader. There's one that looks like Yoda. I swear to God, if you look, there at the National Cathedral and the gargoyles. What? If you go through, they're not all like right on display front, but as you're walking through the building and you look out certain windows and you see different angles of the cathedral, like if you look out that window, look right there. See that gargoyle? That one looks like Darth Vader. It's an homage. And there's literally hidden gems like that throughout it.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's common. And so I'm kind of look for the same kind of thing here because it's there. Yeah. So make that part fun. Use that as a family thing to kind of learn a little bit more about our community and come out and support. Because that's what First Friday is. It's kind of come out, strolling around, enjoying the music, and enjoying the nightlife, maybe stopping and grabbing a bite to eat. And then,
we have several restaurants downtown. I know that there's quite a bit of frustration right now with no food trucks downtown. We are still working on that.
Okay.
We hope to start that back up in January.
Okay. Well, we got to find a way to make it work for everybody, and that's what's going on.
And it'll be private parking lots. These trucks will be set up in private parking lots, but still available to everybody. They'll be easy to access.
Yeah,
so it's not like they're going to be literally behind a fence or anything like that.
Gotcha.
So
they're out in the open.
They're going to be out in the open. We're really excited to hopefully. And I say we, the merchants are the ones working on that part of it.
Sure.
But they really do enjoy having the trucks down there.
Well, it's a win-win for everybody.
It is. It absolutely is. It's additional traffic.
Yeah.
And like you said, it is a win-win for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They all get to, have new customers.
Mm-hmm.
Those customers who are used to always go, they love that food truck.
Sure.
Well, all of a sudden they're downtown going, oh, cool, I didn't know that shop was there.
Well,
and before my daughter and Kathleen kill me, the name of that jewelry is Kendra Scott.
Okay, there it is. That's the one.
So Kathleen, so sorry. Diana, sorry. It's Kendra Scott.
We're going to give your customers just a limited amount of information when they go in there and ask you, and you'll be like, oh, I know who you talk to. But no, but you're right though, because especially because we have such unique, cool shops downtown.
Oh, yes.
But if some of them are basically, if you're into certain things, if you're not there, you may have never gone in there. Where the food trucks and everything brings everybody, all walks of life together, and they're like, "Hey, let's go into that store." So it's an opportunity to, especially for businesses that offer niche products, to get people that aren't necessarily
familiar
to those things.
Yes.
So that's why it's great. So yes, it's coming. It's going to happen. We got to work out the logistics to make sure we don't step on anybody's toes. But once that's all done, it's game on. So that's the reason it's going on. It's not trying to lock somebody out or do people how people talk and turn things into things. That's what happens. But at the end of the day, it's trying to make it so we can make the best experience for the merchants, for the customers, and for our food trucks
and to keep everybody safe. That was I think one of the concerns.
Traffic issues and stuff. It is one of the busiest, if not the busiest street in our community.
Right.
Is right there in the Main Street corridor here. So.
Yes. You got those two highways coming together, and it definitely can get packed.
Absolutely. But
and before I forget, we do also have our mascots are going to be out tonight.
Okay.
You said
speaking of dogs,
the dogs, right? So they're going to be at Victoria's place and that's Euphoria Salon on 3rd and Richardson.
Okay.
And then we have them going over to Farmhouse on 2nd.
Okay.
Later.
Which
I
is
believe they're
on 2nd.
On 2nd, yes. And it's her building is so cool. They did such a beautiful job remodeling that.
Yeah, because that was they did a lot of work in that because it's a historical area, that whole area, and those buildings and things, they're old, but those weren't originally boutiques and shops and things, so they weren't kind of built that way. So they had to do a lot of remodeling, renovating to make it into what it is today.
Yes.
So.
And I know we have another nonprofit coming out tonight, and I'll give a shout out to Carrie Moore with the Friends of the Chavez County Sheriff's Office.
Awesome.
It's an organization that I'm also involved with.
Cool.
We're going to be selling hot chocolate and cider.
Oh, nice.
So set up right there at 304 North Main.
Cool.
304. In front of Business Notions. We're going to be in there.
I just heard of this group the other day. Tell me more about Friends. I mean, obviously they're there to support the sheriff's department.
Absolutely.
There, but kind of talk about what you get, what you guys do there, doing that.
So the whole idea of this came from there. Many times when money is donated to a specific group within a governmental agency, that money goes into the general fund.
Okay.
And then it's not always easy to separate it out when it's needed for projects.
Okay.
So because the general fund is the general fund,
Sure.
and each of the groups within governmental agency gets to pull from that,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
So this organization is set up to be able to raise funds specifically for the needs of the sheriff's office.
I got you. So if you want to help out and they need, say, I don't know, vests or
and
canine equipment or whatever, then that's
and
what
they are
it's there
looking
for.
for donations of things like PPE.
Okay.
And then things like mints to keep, gum, candies other than chocolates.
Gotcha.
Small toys that they can
Stuff
give to
that
children.
when they're on scene, they can help out. Their teddy bears, things like that. Yeah.
Just literally a bag of the little twisty mints, the little circle twisty mints, whatever.
Gotcha.
Or the lifesaver type candies.
Yeah.
Those not only for the officers, but if they come across somebody who needs some sugar, because they're
diabetic or whatever, and they're having an episode.
Things like the energy bars, energy drinks.
Something like they come across homeless or something, they need a meal or they need a little help here.
Or the officer
and refusing
himself,
to go.
Or the officer himself needs,
Sure.
to finish out the shift and needs a little something to snack on to get through.
This might be a different one that people don't think about, but I got an opportunity to do a ride-along with the Sheriff's Department a couple of years ago. It's very cool.
I just got signed up. I can't wait till I get the
call.
call.
It's very cool. It's very cool. But one of the things I learned is... and our hospitals are very good about this, but the rubber gloves, the blue gloves that they put on, like the day I went, the deputy, I was like, I got to get some. So he went, and the hospital gave him a full box of gloves. And I'm sure the hospital can't do that every time for these officers, but if maybe that's one of those items that we can buy for them and have these boxes of those blue gloves handy for them, because they're putting those on 100 times a day,
absolutely,
to protect themselves and others, obviously.
And that was one of the things that I did actually discuss with them, that they do need the gloves for many different reasons, including keeping themselves and others safe.
Yeah.
And they can't do the really thin gloves.
They need the thicker more. That's probably why they get them from the hospital, because those are probably a better grade.
Or the ones that are used by mechanics.
Okay.
Because those are specially made to not fall apart with the use of chemicals. So they tend to be a little thicker.
Okay.
And they're made of whatever type of the propylene or whatever type of material.
So it protects them a little better.
Yes. And the thing is they don't come off as easily.
Gotcha.
One officer was telling me that during a tussle with an individual, her glove got ripped off.
Gotcha.
And so then she's
exposed.
She's exposed. And she said, it's just that some of those gloves are so thin that they easily rip. And so it did. It ripped. And then she had one hand that was still gloved and one that was not.
And I'm pretty sure the person she was dealing with didn't say, hey, can you stop a sec? I got to replace my glove.
No.
Then we can get back to it.
Right. No, that's definitely not it. But let me tell you that the sheriff's office is also trying to start up an explorer group, which is very. I know that the Roswell Police Department has an explorer
through the
group.
scouts, through scouting. Yes, it's a great their explorer program.
And that is one of those other things, that there are several expenses related to that. The kids are asked to have specific
equipment and uniforms.
Uniforms is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're hoping to do is get a good breakdown of what that would cost per child.
Okay.
And people can sponsor a child.
Yeah.
Maybe not specifically by name. We probably can't do it that way, but
sure.
And we would have some sort of the plan is to hopefully be able to have some sort of thank you, either a pin or a T-shirt or something where that person is recognized as having been a sponsor for the Explorers.
And by the way, this is an awesome tool for the police department as well, because obviously it's a connection with youth in our community and things like that, but it's also a grooming tool for law enforcement. These kids that are interested in becoming police explorers, most of them are also wanting to pursue a career in law enforcement.
Yes.
So they're kind of learning the ins and outs of law enforcement before they even step foot in an academy or a college classroom or any place where they're going to do formal training for law enforcement. And so now they kind of how it works and if they want to do it, but it also sets the table. And and I would imagine if they're I'm sure the Roswell PD and their explorers, some of those will end up being police officers here for the Roswell Police Department, Chaves County Sheriff's Office, saying, hey, we'll take some of ours, and maybe they're going to be sheriff's deputies now, and here in 5 years or 10 years down, depending on how old they are, down the road here. So that's what it's. So it's helpful there. It's great for our youth and giving them opportunities and a potential career opportunity and things like that. But at the same time, we're also feeding the system here to make sure we have qualified, good people serving in law enforcement roles well into the future here.
Yes.
So it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
So help out. It's a great way to. So if you want to learn more, talk to Molly. Talk to Molly here, and she'll be happy to tell you about being a Friends of the Chaves County Sheriff.
I'll be down there. I'll be down there tonight.
Okay.
But if you don't mind, if I could hit on a few other things.
Yeah, we're running short on time, so we need to move on. Yeah.
So we have, of course, we have our Small Business Saturday coming up on the 27th.
Yes.
So that is that Saturday right after Thanksgiving.
After Thanksgiving, yeah.
We just got the email yesterday that Main Street Roswell is going to be what they call a neighborhood champion.
Okay.
So we're expecting a bag of goodies that we can hand out to the businesses that they can then hand out to their customers.
Okay.
Many of the businesses will do it, either the first 10 people through the door, or, if you spend X number of dollars, you get this bag or whatever type of swag. We never know what we're going to get until it gets here.
Gotcha.
But it's usually pretty cool stuff.
They don't shortchange you. They usually hook you up pretty good there.
It's gotten a little smaller over the years, but I
imagine COVID takes part of that role into that little thing. But
and
cool.
I know we had several businesses that were concerned that there might be another shutdown. So we have told them if God forbid there's another shutdown, we will do what we did last year. It was actually kind of fun. It was hectic, but it was fun. Juliana and I did a round robin, I guess is what you would call it. I started at one business with a live sale.
Okay.
Ran it for 30 minutes. As soon as I shut mine down, Juliana was at another business and started a live sale. So we had
like a round robin.
Yes.
Like a video telethon sale kind of thing. Yeah.
And it was actually pretty cool. And all the businesses said that they really did well with it. It was a struggle because we were coming into the holidays when many of the businesses truly do rely on those sales to make it, make their year complete.
Sure.
And have that.
The reason it's Black Friday weekend and they call it that. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that Black Friday, what it is a lot of businesses are running in the red, meaning losing money because of how much they've ordered in during the year. And until Black Friday hits, they're still in the red in ink, but Black Friday puts them in the black.
That's when they make the profits.
That's when the profits actually
and they
start.
actually can put food on the table and do the things that they got into business for.
Exactly. Everybody assumes, businesses make money every day. Well,
not money for you necessarily.
Not money for the business owner. Yes, they can pay their bills, but they're not making any profit up until this time of the year.
They're covering the cost of what it takes to run the business.
Yes,
and
for the entire year.
That's why being a local business owner is very hard. And I know a lot of people go in it with the dreams of being your own boss and all that, and then they learn the hard way that being your own boss means your boss can be a jerk because you gotta, you know what I mean? You got to work to get it happening, or guess what? Your boss is going to fire you, and you're it.
One of the things that I would tell people when I had once again was, I always dreamed of having my own business, and I own my own business. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
My business owns me.
That's kind of where it goes.
I don't usually get weekends off. Sometimes they're having to work on Sunday.
Sure.
When you get home at 9 o'clock at night, even though the store closed at 5 or 6.
Right.
Yeah. Your business.
And those are lessons learned, and then you get better at it, hopefully.
Yes, you do. And then you find the right people to help you along the way, the employees.
But that's why Small Business Saturday is so important.
Yes.
So get out here, support these businesses, come on down, talk to them, especially if you're looking for certain things. This is the difference, and I don't want to I'm starting to get windbaggy, and I don't want to, but I'm telling you, the local businesses, especially if you're looking for products and things, they're going to be the most knowledgeable. If you're looking for like cookware or something, you go to the big box stores and you kind of do your own looking, but you go to a specialty store that does that specific thing, they can tell you, this is why you want this stuff and this is why it's better. Sure, it may be $10 cheaper, but guess what? That'll be broke in a year.
Right?
This stuff you'll be passing down to your kids, know, and that's the difference. And that's where it is. And so shop local. And use a Small Business Saturday. You don't have to wait till then. Shop there now, but make sure you get out there and hit some of our local businesses and local merchants.
Yeah. And so before we run out of time, I'm going to try to hit these really fast, and I hate to cut them short. I'd love to be able to come back in later and talk more about them. So on the first Friday in December, which is December 3rd, it's going to be a little bit different.
Okay.
We're going to have a holiday community tree lighting there at the county courthouse. It looks like it's going to be at the top of the stairs between the pillars.
Okay.
So and there's going to be a concert.
On the steps of the courthouse.
On the steps of the courthouse.
Cool.
We're going to have several different choirs come in.
Okay.
So we're going to have live music.
It's very Christmas themed, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and this is all thanks to Devin Bullock. She
cool.
She has really taken this and run with it. She's been a great volunteer with our organization, doing so much great work.
And I imagine this is a great opportunity because, like Jazz Festival, these things have been put on the back burners because of COVID.
Right.
And I imagine there's a lot of artists of that caliber in that area that are ready to do stuff.
Well,
and so we're going to get.
She's concentrating on the churches and school choirs.
Okay, I got you.
So, and then we're going to finish off that evening with the showing of the 2000 How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So that's the Jim Carrey version.
Okay, the Jim Carrey version, the live action version. Yeah.
What we've asked all of our merchants to do this year is to decorate their stores in a Whoville theme.
Okay.
And then the next day, Saturday, we have the Holiday in Whoville tour.
Cool.
So what we're going to do is we're going to have businesses, and if you need information, call Main Street at 914-8017. I'll give you that number again in a few minutes. But we want businesses to come out and set up displays.
Okay.
You can set it up on a trailer or flat. You'll have all day to set it up. We're going to be behind the convention center and behind DeBremen.
Okay.
And the exciting thing that we just got, I think my husband thought I was having a stroke when I was talking to Brandon about this. We had a call and this guy said, hey, I'd like to set up a display. We're usually in the parade and I'd like to set up a display. I understand it's a static display, so I have something different in mind. I just don't know if it's going to work. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it? And he goes, I want to do a 200-foot Christmas tree. And I went, what? And my husband's looking at me, he goes, are you okay? I'm like, I think.
That's cool.
So Brandon Arnold with Custom Construction is bringing in his crane and his 18-wheeler. So he's going to back those 18-wheelers up to one another. The crane will be behind them.
Okay.
And he's going to raise that crane with strings of lights
and make like a Christmas tree out of lights.
200 feet.
Oh,
he's got
cool.
He's planning a 33-foot star.
Wow.
I mean, this is literally, he had to call out to the airport.
I imagine, because this might mess with the traffic controlling situations.
So guys, we're so excited to be able to announce that.
That's cool.
Only a few people know about that so far. So now
look for that December 3rd.
December 4th.
First Friday, December 4th, I'm sorry.
That's on Saturday.
The first Friday weekend there.
The first Friday weekend, right. So we are really looking forward, because it's going to be a static display. We're hoping more businesses will get involved because, like I said, you'll have all day to set up.
Yeah.
We're
so mark
super
it on your
excited.
calendars and get ready.
Yes, December 3rd and 4th. But come out tonight. If you need some more information, I'll have flyers for you.
And
I know we're out of time. I'm so sorry.
Lots of cans of Who Hash to help others in need.
There you
We're keeping
go.
with the Grinch theme.
Thank you.
I would love to see if you keep your Grinch theme going for the next one.
Yeah.
If you incorporate a can of Who Hash somewhere in it, I would be very happy. I don't know why, but ever since I was a kid, when they do the poem of the cartoon, it goes right down to the last can of Who Hash. I laugh every time I hear that line, and I don't know why. I'm a child, but I do.
We'll see what we can do for you. I got several really creative friends.
You love me some Who Hash.
Thank you for being patient and waiting on me
Thank you,
today.
and thank goodness your dogs are back here, and so all's good. So we'll see you guys tonight, I guess.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Take care.
You.
Thank you.
Bye.
It is time